Hey, everybody. You guys are all up there today. Welcome to the show. Got quite a few familiar faces on tonight. We got Gary, he's been on recently with Mushroom Matt.
Yep.
That show you were on. And then a repeat guest, Zank, Brad Zank.
Hi.
So they were, Gary and Brad were just down here doing some scouting around and whatnot. Coming up, you guys come up. Is this your 4th year to Indiana?
Yep.
Up. I keep saying up, but it's pretty well down.
Yeah, there's more down than up.
There's no up about it, really. Oh, and they checking cameras and scouting this weekend. I buzzed around with Gary today, and we thought we'd just get on while we're sitting around tonight and kind of shoot the breeze with everybody.
Sounds good.
Yep. Anyway, I was gonna bring this show to everybody by the water sergeant.
That's a good idea.
Free advertisement for Brad's company.
That's right. If you live in eastern Wisconsin, southeastern Wisconsin, get a hold of me.
All your plumbing needs and your
Plumbing, water softeners, salt delivery.
He does it all. I got to get a water
reverse osmosis.
I got to get a water softener in this house. We were talking about it beforehand. I got a lot of hard water.
You do. Your water's the hardest.
We used to have a softener, and then my it went out, and I just decided to bypass it and not put one in. Not the best choice, probably. But
Not for your fixtures.
No.
Or your water heater.
Yeah. Or just anything really. I think everything's hard. It's hard on your fridge, on your dishwasher, washer, probably too.
We'll get you squared away.
Yep. Maybe next spring, come to do some scouting, and I gotta have Eric build me a front porch, and you put me a water softener in. We can tag team it.
We can do that. Just do some with that hose bib too on the side.
Yeah. Yeah, over here,
2 inches above the grade. That's what you got. A small bucket to fill up.
I got a spigot out back that is literally like 2 inches off the ground. Yeah. Oh man. Anyways, if you guys want to ask any questions, and I don't know why you would, but if you want to tonight, you can ask away in the comments section. Just leave a question mark before you ask, and we'll get to them. Zeke says, "Hi, Gary."
Hey, Zeke and James.
Yep. You guys have seen Brad and Gary both are in the comments quite often. But so what'd you guys think about your trip down here? It's pretty miserable scouting here right now.
I was thinking I should have came here in spring.
Yeah.
It's hot.
It's real hot.
And tough to see sign for sure.
Yeah.
And the Chiggars.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm curious to wake up in the morning to see if I don't have chiggers on my legs, because me and Gary,
it's going to be your fault.
We walked through a lot of like the gas or the clear cuts and stuff. A few of them we had to walk through to get to a certain spot. I don't know, grass up to your belly button essentially. So
yeah, for those people who don't know, I've gotten chiggers twice. And one case was so bad I ended up in the doctor's office getting some medication. And they said it was the worst case of chiggers they ever seen. They were all over my body.
It's the worst case I've seen.
Yeah, that was not a good day. You know,
were you here for that?
Yeah, you were. Yep.
Yeah.
And then
I had to put cream on. It was very uncomfortable. But you gotta do what you gotta do.
Right. You didn't do anything for significant others.
Yeah.
I pulled a tick out of his belly button, I think, that trip too.
Yeah, only half a tick. The rest ended up still in there, and I had to go to the doctor to get that removed.
Yeah, you haven't had very good luck down here.
No.
I did find 2 ticks on my leg today.
You did?
They were still crawling around. They weren't embedded.
Yeah.
They were turkey ticks, all right. They were real small ones.
Real light brown, and
you can just walk in front of it, Maddie. We have the camera set up in the middle of our kitchen, so she can't. There she goes. Oh, it's funny. Now you got to go back and forth. That's fine too.
Indiana's been rough on me. You stepped on a ground hornet's nest when I was behind you, and I got stung 11 times.
Yeah,
I was getting chased around by them and chiggers, ticks.
Yeah,
you should pan to a photo of my arm last fall.
Yeah, you got the bad case of poison ivy.
Yeah,
horrible.
Yeah, You ended up having to go to the doctor for that, didn't you?
Yeah, I had like blisters size of like a tennis ball on my arm. It was bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't got any bad poison ivy in a couple years, but I used to get it real bad.
Yep, definitely recognize those trees with those vines on.
That's what you guys were saying. That's different up here. You guys don't grow up on trees in Wisconsin very often.
It's a ground ivy.
Yeah, it's like in the ditches a lot, roadsides. I mean, it's out all over, but not like it is here.
Yeah, yeah.
Huh.
We don't have. Well, we do have some of the viney. Some of the marshes, I do notice that, but not like to extend here. It seems like every other tree here has that poison ivy.
Yeah, yeah, and you gotta you gotta watch it. It grows up trees on the ground everywhere
Yep.
around here.
Even when you think it's dead, it still holds those oils, right, Zank?
And then you sit in the sun for 5 hours after climbing that tree.
Yeah,
That's
sweat
bad.
it in real good.
That's
Yeah,
bad.
yeah.
Just get it moved all over your body, and yeah.
It spreads.
Yeah.
Oh well. Jacob had I think it was sumac real bad.
Yeah,
though.
he thinks it was poison sumac. I was giving him a hard time, like, hey, you should probably learn to identify poison ivy before you crawl around it. And he's like, dude, it wasn't. It was sumac. I'm like, oh, all right.
You have a lot of sumac up there?
Not that I know of. I never got into it.
Not the wild stuff.
No.
We have that wild parsnip, which is horrible.
Right.
But I only know one guy that's ever gotten into that.
Who's
Is
that?
Me?
Gary?
No, I didn't get
Jordan.
Or Krakowski?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty wild, man. So
Doesn't surprise you then.
no, not at all. But
Yeah.
he's a good hunter for sure.
Yeah.
Mad respect.
Yeah. Did you I haven't really talked to you, but did you get into anything good today?
I think so.
Yeah. Depending on the
It's tough. The trails and stuff here are just not, they're real defined for like 20, 30 yards, and then they kind of just, it's tough. But
Yeah.
I've a couple of the drainages had a lot of tracks in them.
Yeah.
Dried up creek beds.
yeah. I think right now too, a lot of the I'm hoping at least a lot of the deer are down in the farms and the crops right now too. There's a lot of
Yep.
Here
For
goes
sure.
Corn is amazing compared to by us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. The crops look good down here right now. We got some good rain this summer.
Yeah, we're hurting by us with that drought we had. Still kind of dealing with that. We're a few inches behind still for the summer. So
Yeah, but it's tough here in the summertime scouting just because, like you said, it's hard to see the stuff. Me and Gary found a bunch of beds today though,
quite a bit.
and we were all in hill country, and that all the beds were in that upper third.
Yep.
And a lot of them were on the north facing slopes right now.
Yep.
Which makes sense.
Yep. Absolutely. A lot of south winds.
Yeah.
Yep.
In fact, we were in one particular hub where we thought the south facing side of the hub looked better. Like
Right.
it had more
Or
cover,
Yep.
better points. Nothing over there really.
Yeah, it was dead.
One point had a little bit of sign and a little bit of bedding, and then you go over to the south facing slope, and there was just,
It was
bed
tore
after
up.
bed after bed
Yeah.
on that,
And
spread out
trails.
throughout the whole. And and we got a pretty interesting thing we did. We put a camera on the south facing slope where a bunch of trails came together, and the same thing on the north facing slope where a bunch of trails come together. So it's going to be interesting to see if you can correlate the wind on which side of the ridge they're using.
Yeah, they're
Nice.
pretty much straight across from each other on
Yeah.
Yep. So it'll be cool because they pinch off from a drainage right there that they're kind of going around. They don't want to drop down this drainage, and it's on both sides of like a hub system. So it definitely is going to be cool just to be able to see
Yeah.
how that turns out.
I was excited about that. I've been wanting to get cameras or just something back there for a couple of years now, so I'm pumped that I finally got that done. But I've had one camera back there a few years ago. It's just got so many spots and stuff. I didn't get to it last.
And it's hard to get signal in these hills for cell cams.
Yeah.
And those cell cams actually did real well.
Yeah. I put out 2 of those new rivals that Exodus has now. I like those even better than the renders, I think.
Yeah.
So they gotten good service both places I put them in, thinking I wouldn't get service. I got service with them, so it's good to. That's good to know.
Smile.
It's actually AT&T coverage too, which
Yeah.
is different.
And my cell phone actually was in and out of service, so I was kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And they fired right up.
Yep. Send us pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
You must not have Verizon then, because my phone was not working all day.
Really?
Yeah. Really.
Kind of nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Right.
Right.
Yep. Is Zank? Is your mic going in and out?
Yeah, I think so. It sounds like it.
It feels normal.
Yeah. It's just real natural over there looking Oh, let us know in the comments if Zank's mic's going in and out. It may just be our headphones, but if you guys can hear Zank all right, because I got another set of mics hooked up already. We can just throw it on him.
Big shout out to Klein and Kelly.
You sounded good there. You didn't break up at all. So,
probably the cord here, maybe.
Yeah,
now it's cutting in and out again.
All the knots in it.
Yeah.
Oh man, but I still I felt like today was productive though. A lot of times I go out in the summertime and I'm just like, this was a waste of time. I got hot. I got bugs all over me.
It's tough this time of year to see any sign and
what we should be doing right now instead of this is being out glassing.
Right.
Yeah.
But
it's one of those
for the fans.
Right. Right. It's all for the fans. That's right.
I'll say this though about the bug situation down here. This is nothing.
That's exactly what I said.
Nothing compared to where we're at. Deer flies and stuff.
Not compared to the swamps and
right. I mean,
Wisconsin.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way I'd be out in short sleeve shirts by us. There's just no way. And I was covered with enough spray and lotions, and I felt like I was Agent Orange walking through the woods to make sure I didn't get any chiggers.
I didn't use the lotion today, but Maddie swears by that lotion.
It does work.
Yeah, you used it.
You put on my hands and my face.
See, I need to start using
everything down, and then I carry bug spray too. But
yeah,
that wouldn't even be enough. Where I'm from.
No. I know
because the deer flies aren't affected by any of that stuff.
No,
they don't use them at all.
Am I still cutting in and out here?
I don't. Someone just says you sound normal, so
that's definitely not true.
That isn't right. Get him a different mic.
It must be a good mixer you got here.
Yeah.
Get any plumbing questions coming?
You got any plumbing issues at your house right now? You can ask away.
We got a plugged toilet from Zank earlier, but
oh yeah,
yep.
Yeah. The little Chad said the little turkey ticks will be horrible. He didn't say turkey ticks, but that's what we call them down here. The little ticks will be horrible real soon here in Indiana. Yeah. Maddie's attracted to them stupid things. Every time she goes to the woods, she gets covered in them.
Really?
I can just imagine what you're taking her through. I mean,
yeah. Today, okay. In my defense, stupid OnX, it needs to update its mapping software because we came out to a spot that looked like a road. It would look like a road, and it's cut into the.
It wasn't a road.
Back into the public, and we got out there. It's just like a clear cut that's like nose high. And we had to truck through that for a while to get to the actual road.
It was full of these prickers that looked like you were going through the mouth of Jaws. I mean, it was just it grabs onto you and rips you back. I was like, ouch. Yeah, I lost some blood.
Yeah, it was rough.
Some coyotes were probably tracking me.
We were trying to take a shortcut to get back to the because we had to go to my uncle's to pick up deer heads before he went to bed, which I guess you guys didn't make it.
No, but he was in bed by 5. So
I didn't know that. But it was not a shortcut. We should have just went back the way we came.
Yeah, but that's all right. It's all good.
Adventure.
Yeah,
for sure.
We did have a little bit of disappointment in. We did run into one spot that we were kind of excited about. Had a few new trail cameras in it.
Yep.
3 trail cameras.
Yep. So 1 cell cam and then 2 SD card cams, but I definitely felt like it wasn't somebody who is on the up and up. I don't know. I mean, as far as they were like literally like 2 feet off the ground. Like, are you getting pictures of legs of deer? Because I'm not quite certain. It was kind of weird. Maybe they're coyote hunting. I don't know.
Yeah. A big problem with putting it that low too is not the obvious stuff where deer can smell them and see them and all that, but like there's just so much stuff that grows up and things fall down on the ground. Then you're, you know,
and it was right, like literally be in a deer's face.
it was
the way
like
they set it up,
knee high.
Yeah. So
too low.
Yeah.
That's too low, guys.
We should have did him a favor and moved him up for him, but no, we don't. We won't. Walk around them and keep moving on. But I don't know. It's like all this information that's out there, and yet people are still doing some.
Yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of people just don't know. I think, you know, it's, of course, honestly, man, if you look on like a lot of like these private land hunters pages and stuff, that's how they put it up. Like they'll put them real
low in their face.
I mean, they'll put them on like a stake in the middle of a food plot.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah,
but it's like that's different than putting a trail camera in the Hoosier National.
Right. It was right in their face. Like, I mean, they were okay spots.
Yeah.
It's just, I think if they just did a little bit better job of actual hanging, but
maybe they don't have like Onyx, so they're like, I want to make sure I can find them.
Yeah,
that's true.
You know? Could be. But I run into more cameras like that than I do hung high and
out of the way
and hidden.
Yeah.
Maybe that's by design. Maybe I don't see them, but I have pretty good eye for that kind of stuff, you know.
That and sheds, they don't. You're pretty good at that.
Yeah.
Finding sheds.
Yeah.
We didn't find any today.
No, but we did you got to actually try out the Good Sit mobile mounts.
I've put one up with it before that.
Okay. But today was a real test in the Hoosier, right?
Yeah, today was, and you showed me like tricks and how to use them more efficient and stuff.
Man,
you got some too, right?
Yep, I got a couple out there with those. It's a very impressive product.
Yeah, it works good.
Man, once you get used to it, it goes so quick, and it would go quicker if we had remembered the laser.
Oh, we forgot so much stuff today.
Yeah,
I forgot my stick to hang cameras high.
Yeah, there was a couple extra sticks in Gary's truck.
Yeah.
They were in your truck. Yeah.
So
we had one, but
Zank and I rode together from Wisconsin. So he took off in my truck, and then I rode with Josh. So like a lot of my stuff was in my truck, like the laser and the sticks. Yeah, my wallet.
I wish I would have known your wallet was.
Yeah, right.
Right. Good information.
Yep.
Oh,
but we made it work. I mean, with two people, it's not so bad. But man,
stand on his shoulders.
We talked about it. We forgot the stick, so I'm like, I'll just you can just stand on my back and try to get it up high. But we figured it out.
You're cutting out.
So
we're gonna trade Zank out.
Hello?
Oh
much
man.
better.
Pull ahead to window 2.
Here we go.
Yeah,
I kind of liked it better when we couldn't hear him.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that does sound much better though.
Yeah.
Let me see that thing. I'm gonna take this one and put it somewhere else so I don't. Here, I'll just leave it right here. That way I can fix that.
I got a question for you, Josh. So,
dang, you're too dang loud.
Okay. I got a question. Oh. So last summer when I came, August, I think it was. So I was in this spot I really am in love with, in my head.
Yeah.
And I jumped 2 decent bucks. It's right along a river. Really, ridge chokes down right there. It's like they got to go through there. I jumped 2 really, solid bucks. And this year I went over there and the beds and stuff weren't even there in the shade of the trees. Like, what's different this year than last year?
It could be a bunch of things. Like right now, if there's some good beans somewhere right now, they may be just over there, or I don't know if there's some other type of, dude, like today we checked one camera and coyotes had moved in the area.
Yeah, I can see that.
And there was 40 coyotes coming through there, like just in and out. I mean, not 40 pictures just every day, just going in
every
and out.
day.
Yeah, I
and
noticed
no deer on the camera.
Yeah,
so
I was just wondering. It seemed like such a money spot, but yeah that could be that corn.
What's around it?
Last year it was like a fallow field with tall grass.
But see, they may be eating in there.
Well, now it was corn.
Yeah,
but the corn is horrible.
Yeah,
there's I don't know if it's water hemp or something. It's in every row and it's wet.
It looks like it flooded out. So what happened after it's planted?
I don't think. Yeah, I could have just got wet. I don't think the state takes care of them very well. I don't know what the protocol is, but I know what field you're talking about, and it's always junk.
Right.
Um,
It grows tall stuff, but
No cobs.
that one had some. But yeah, I
Oh.
went to another one that had no cobs at
Yeah.
all, which would be very
yeah,
deceiving
corn,
if you were.
Corn's just not a real big attractant to him right now, in my opinion. There's just so much more into the green beans that are going on out here, at least.
Well, you know, well, my thought was last year it was just fallow, so it wasn't sure that attractive. Now this year it was corn. I thought, oh, it'd be better.
I mean, me and Gary ran into a field of jewelweed in the woods today.
That's
unusual for here.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't know.
I just got to write it off for this year or go check it.
Or like if there's corn near, you know, if that corn ends up turning out and having some ears on it, once the beans dry up, which they will by October 1st,
right,
then all of a sudden there's deer in there again because the corn's starting to be more attractive, or they're eating something else. You know?
And there was tracks closer to the road.
Or you got oaks there, white oaks or something are falling in early season, or I don't know if.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit today because the concern was way back in the hills was, are we getting pictures of mature bucks on there? And probably not right now. We have our cameras staged up so that when those beans dry up, they're going to start hitting those acorns, and it's going to be money.
Oh,
we know it already. We've done this for 3 years.
We did screw up in the fact didn't bring our binos today too. Not looking at trees. We saw a lot of oaks on the ground,
some are like purging.
Yeah, but I can't say I saw a white oak on the ground though.
No, all red oaks is what we saw.
Yeah.
And the ones I saw were all like the little. They were real little.
Red
must
oaks,
be purging the.
And that made me a little nervous, I guess.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
The wind knocks some of them out, or squirrels do too.
There's a lot of down trees where some of the spots I was. I don't know if
we've had some big
extreme
storms.
weather.
We've had some pretty good storms lately.
But I think that's something that people need to remember, especially in the hills here with ground. You know, they're not going to go too far from those bean fields right now, and it's really, you know, people drive by those bean fields and go, oh my God, look at all the giants out there.
Yeah,
that's going to be opening day.
There's 8 giants out in this bean field. It's like, but they're not.
Yeah, they're not going to be like
October 1st comes
3
around,
miles
apart each other,
and they're going to hate each other that time of the year too. They're not going to be friends.
Oh, I mean, last year there was a deer that was at a particular spot all summer, in a bean field, and a guy at church killed him. And it was, you know, a few miles from that bean field where he killed him at. It's pretty neat because I had the sheds from him. I gave him the sheds, but I had his shed from the year before.
Yeah, that was a really nice buck, actually.
Yeah, it was a big deer.
Yep,
it was a big
for
deer.
Sure.
But he's in the general area, but he wasn't
right
nowhere near that bean field, you know.
Well, I think there's no more big bucks in this area, so everybody just go to Illinois or Iowa, Kansas. Just, you know, I mean, Indiana, they're dead.
They're gonna be.
Yep, the coyotes ate them all.
I did find quite a few beds tucked in right along the river.
Did you?
Different spot, but not way back up up on the ridges though.
Now, would you consider that's just summer bedding in general, or do you think that's going to be an October 1 spot?
No, I don't think it would be.
Yeah,
I think it's just now it's convenient. Nobody's really bothering them.
Yeah.
Why go bury yourself way up there?
Right.
Were any of the beds like in a specific spot along that river, or was it just
they were
random?
It was within 20 feet of the bank, just tucked into the grass, maybe under a bush.
Yeah, near that cornfield.
A different one.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't find any real good bedding in this first spot I talked about at all. I went right to where I jumped on bucks because that was like under like hickory trees and really nice and breezy and shaded. I kind of assumed deer would be there all the time because it's just a really nice spot. You can't sneak up on them real good. And like you said, they're not there, or they're up. Maybe there's a lot of mosquitoes there though, so maybe they're up on the ridge then.
Me and Gary didn't see a single bed low, I don't think, today.
No, they're all high.
So
it's like not even really using the hub systems just too much in some of the spots we're in.
No.
But then others, they're just seem like it's hammered. So.
Yeah. Gary, what do you think that particular hub that didn't have hardly any sign down it, but then the side, the ridges around the hub were just covered? What do you think was about that hub that they didn't like?
You know, I think maybe it was too steep on both sides, like where it wasn't wide enough for them to actually comfortably move through. And
That's the only thing I can think of.
And then the other thing is maybe some of the pressure off the private land going to those crop fields might have pushed them up in those hills a little more.
The creek really kind of like zigged and zagged where they'd had to do a lot of fooling around to get through that too.
Right. I mean, there was just 0 like scrapes in that hub, which is kind of crazy because a lot of hubs I find are on here.
Yeah.
Like,
lots of trees down, lots of branches down. I noticed a lot of things that they look a little bit different in there just because of the, I had one camera that I put up in March or whenever it was. And I mean, there's just a beat trail coming out of a hub and had a scrape on it. I had a camera over that scrape, and a giant tree like fell down over the trail,
blocking it.
They didn't seem to be using it. When I checked the camera, they were kind of skirting around the tops. Every now and again, you would get a picture of one way up in the hills. So it looked like they were kind of going around that big tree. I was like, gosh dang it. But how do you know?
That happens, yeah.
But we got in some good sign, I feel.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that if a guy might be able to pull one out of their opening week, but for sure, rut and pre-rut.
We got a pile of people coming here.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be like a hunting beast 4A.
Yeah.
We have to roast a whole pig. Feed the beast.
Right.
Eric will be here. These two, Global will be here too. Brad
Crook. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. I guess that's it for opening.
Yeah. I think Tim is planning on coming
during the rut.
Yeah, Tim Hinkey.
Yeah, and because you guys will make a trip back here during the rut if you guys don't tag out.
Yeah. Hopefully,
more than likely.
Knock on wood.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got my eye on a few good ones from last year yet that I actually, and that's what I did yesterday. I know you were busy with some stuff with your dad and whatever, but there was a hub system. It's just a real small hub system, and it's along a highway, and there's no place to park. But there's on the private fields across the street, these bucks were coming off this hub system, and it seems like I get one hunt in there, and then they're on to me, like they're so sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 years ago, I hunted in there, and didn't get my eyes on anything. But then now this last year, opening night, I hunted in there, and there's 2 hubs that are separated by the same hill in the middle. And I got pretty close to that hill or that ridge that comes over there, that finger. And I believe heard him get up and move down on me. So then I went back in there next morning to throw a sit in there and just kind of scout, because I already knew it was blowing up. These hub systems are real small. Like you get one hunt and then you're done. And I actually found his sheds in the bed, both sides, and they were big.
Yeah.
Big. So I threw a couple cameras up in there and now I know where he's bedding. So I got a couple cameras in there, one on a scrape that I feel that he's hitting before he goes out to this field, and then one on the trail coming out of that hub where I feel he was using. So
yeah,
hopefully, and they're really easy to check too. So I can literally just jump out of the truck and check these things and know right away.
Yeah,
he's in here. But
yep. You think you'll hunt we call it Charlie Swamp.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I will for sure, because that place makes more sense to me than these hills.
Yeah.
It's more like home, right?
Right. I mean, I'd love to shoot one on these hills, but I'm not as...
You're in a vengeance with Indiana right now. You're ready to just shoot something.
Right.
3 years.
I don't have any problem getting on does. I've seen a lot of does, but...
Yeah.
3 years, ticks and poison ivy, and haven't been able to let an arrow yet go. I think out of all of us, he's like the only one, right? But not that he isn't trying. It's
hard, dude. It's not
hard.
That easy.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you got to adjust at least for me, I've had personal issues and stuff going on in those years, and it's been nice just to be down here with you guys versus, it's more than just killing something. And
Just be along and
right.
Yeah,
so, and I'm a good dragger,
yeah, one of the
You
best,
are.
one of the
Yeah.
best.
He's helped me out here.
but yeah. So I mean,
Yeah, but and then the same token, like you've probably killed some of the bigger deer in this group of people.
Yes, he
Maybe.
has. He has.
Maybe.
But well,
According to Gary, at least.
yeah.
I've
I've
done well
seen
in
his wall.
Wisconsin.
He
I've
won't
done
tell you
well in
about 'em.
Wisconsin.
Hey, you shot one in Minnesota.
In
That
Minnesota.
was a huge one. Let's talk about that.
You killed one in Minnesota?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Now you know.
Yep.
Why don't you talk about that?
Yeah. Well, where was it on public or?
No.
Oh,
it
that
was
doesn't
on,
count.
like,
Doesn't count.
Yeah,
No,
it
I'm
was-
kidding.
no.
I'm kidding.
This was a long time ago too.
Yeah.
I hunted like as a kid. Well, not as a kid. Probably like 15 years old. Probably like high school.
Yeah.
You know, and then I joined the army, got out of it,
Yeah.
and about
Yeah,
when
thanks
I
for
was
your
like-
service.
Yeah, thanks. Then I was about 28. I started getting back into it. You know, I
Yeah.
liked the peace and quiet, and then I didn't. I just hooked up with a guy at work, and she got me back into it, and then that's when I wanted to kind of go to the next level and got on the forum and stuff like
Yeah.
that, and so probably
The hunting beast forum that you're talking about.
yeah. I heard a podcast. I was like, oh, this makes more sense than going and just sticking a stand up or
Yeah. There's
Whatever.
like a method to the madness.
or hunting. My grandma has a farm, and I would just go hunt the same place.
Yeah.
Like, this is lame.
A lot of people, same story.
Right. So whatever. So it was probably like 10, 12 years ago, I got more serious. So I went to a place where you paid just to get on the land.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you
Like
didn't
pay
have
for permission.
yeah,
kind
no
of
one
thing.
told you where to go or anything, but it was prime. I think it was the second night I shot this. It was basically like a 130s 8-pointer.
Yeah.
But he just came out of a bottom, hit a scrape, just dumped him. I mean, it wasn't
Yeah.
honestly, when you go like hunt the public land and figure it out, and you go to like some pretty nice private land. I'm not saying it's easy because it wasn't easy, but
Right.
it's
Different.
different, and
Yeah. It's easier.
it's definitely
they're
easier.
there,
You know,
you
I don't
know.
want anyone to feel bad about it, but
No,
like
no,
it
no.
wasn't that hard to figure it out.
Yeah.
What was
I mean,
going
let's put it
on.
this way. People don't, this is how you know it's easier. People don't pay to go hunt public land because it's easier.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
it's
I'm
like,
just saying, and
it's
there's
just-
a lot more deer.
yeah, if it wasn't easier, people wouldn't pay to go do
Right.
it. You know, that'd be
Well,
stupid.
I
Right.
think
And
too.
that's fine. You know, I hunt a
But
lot
I
of
went
private
by
land.
myself. You know, I just went by myself, found this guy through a friend, and was
Yeah.
like, he's like, yeah, just give me like $500 and you can go hunt this piece. And
Wherever you want.
yeah,
So you're still doing the footwork. you're
yeah.
still
So
doing
it wasn't like a
everything.
guy.
Were you
that
like
hunt-
mobile hunting back then, or did you like go set a stand and then go set over?
No, I had a mobile. I had Lone Wolf or whatever.
Yeah, the old
The old
everybody had back in
cast.
the day.
Lone
Yeah.
Wolf with hawk sticks,
Yeah, yeah,
But so it wasn't like I'm not like super bragging about the deer, but for me at that time it was a good hunt and I learned a lot and
Mm.
felt pretty good to leave, come back with something in the truck.
Oh,
Absolutely.
yeah.
But that
I
was
remember
like
state.
Houston County, I think is where it was. It was just right across the border of Wisconsin. It was a pretty cool place.
I've never hunted Minnesota. I want to sometime.
Let's do it.
But I think going back, we're used to that high pressure public land by us, and that does make you learn in a hurry.
Mm-hmm.
And when you go to other places, I feel that you are a stronger hunter then because you're dealing with
All right.
it can be a struggle by us.
If
but-
anything, it's more, if anything, you got to dial it back. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because you don't want to dive in
correct,
because you don't need to.
right?
Yeah.
You're
you
not
know.
worried about other guys. You're just going in.
Right. And they will come out to, this wasn't a field edge, but I didn't have to get as close to bedding basically.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What time of year was that now?
It was 28th of October.
Oh, well, so like pre-rut type
Yeah,
stuff.
I had like observed does coming out, just moved in. That's why it was the second night. First night I seen what was going on.
Made
Saw
you
where
work.
a bunch of does were coming through, and I
Nice.
set up within, I don't know, 20 some yards of that scrape, and he came out.
Nice.
Wish I had a camera because that one would have been
Cool.
preem.
Like
you
a
know?
perfect
Yeah.
hunt.
But he was a real thick, heavy. Actually, I should have his jaw. He had like his teeth. He had like a gingivitis.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a real like an abscess in between two teeth. It's like
Actually, I've seen a
Yeah,
few
it's
like that.
Very
Already.
noticeable.
Yeah.
We found a fawn jawbone today.
Really?
Yeah.
You
It's
picked
like
it up,
this
didn't you?
big. Yeah, I actually have it. I kind of saved it for Global to kind of like, hey,
Make a joke. He's on,
Yeah,
so
oh.
no more joke.
sorry, man. We found your
You're
deer.
not-
It's dead.
you're not-
He likes that tender meat.
Yeah. Smaller targets to shoot at.
Oh my gosh.
But
We were joking about we checked that truck camera, all them coyotes going through there. We said we had to sing Global in there
Hell,
after.
hell.
Oh yeah, that's right.
he needs
We got to tell this story
Be
on this
knocking out
on
foots.
here. I hope he's still on. He was on earlier, but
Oh boy.
he one year he shot it like I don't know how many coyotes he
I think
shot.
it
It
was
kept
3
missing.
or 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
He only
just
had like
kept
one
missing.
arrow left.
Yeah.
No, I think he actually ran out of arrows, and literally he forgot his arrows, spare arrows at home.
He forgot his extra one, so he had
Yeah.
one. He kept
Yeah,
shooting
one arrow
coyotes.
left, and I'm
And he
like,
only had
dude,
one
just
arrow.
leave those things alone. He is just out after them. He hates coyotes. So.
Oh man!
And there's quite a few of them around here compared to by
Mhm.
us. It's just a lot of
In
them.
the hills, there's a lot of
Yeah.
coyotes up
Yeah.
there. There was coyotes on that another camera we checked too. Quite a few of them. I can't remember which one it was now, but
Yeah.
it didn't matter on here. But
Did-
the one there was. I mean,
Yeah.
the coyotes.
They gotta have a den near
I
there
think
or something.
either
It's just
that or there's something
ridiculous.
dead back there or something.
Yeah, but it seemed like the whole month it was.
Yeah,
Nothing
true.
but coyotes.
True.
It was like a woolly mammoth dead or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they've been waiting
right,
on it for a
right.
while. You know, they're
You-
probably dead, like you said.
Have you seen a lot? Because that last year when you sent me in that hub, I had 2 dogs go through, like domestic
Yeah.
dogs. Is that a thing down here?
It is. Yes.
That sucks.
I've got cameras right now out there that are sending me pictures of dogs, and the nearest house is like half mile away.
Yep.
I'm like, really?
I
You just kind of
I got
open your
pictures
door
of-
and let them run. Like,
Yeah,
hi.
I-
And it's pretty regularly too. It isn't like it's. I mean, I'm still getting pictures of good bucks in there, but I'm just saying to myself, like, Wisconsin, that's really frowned on.
Yeah.
But here it's
we call the place Death Valley. Nobody's gonna know where that's at.
yeah,
but like
no.
back there was wild dogs back there all the time. Is that what
Yep.
you're talking about?
No,
Okay.
this is a different spot.
See,
now.
there
Yep.
you go. And it was like a German Shepherd running
Yeah.
around back there all the
Yeah,
time. It's
there's
like,
like
that's
2
what,
of them or
That's
3
what
of
I
them.
saw last year. Was a German.
were you in
Shepherd.
there? Was that where he was at?
No,
Okay.
no, different spot.
Oh.
Quite a ways away.
Same dog.
He makes his rounds. Yep.
Yeah. You don't. I mean,
It's just annoying, when you go travel to hunt and you got
run
a
into a
dog
bunch of
come
wild
through
dogs.
at prime time. It's like
they're
all
not
right.
wild. They're probably someone's dog.
Yeah,
just
they
don't
are
take care
somebody's
of them.
dogs for sure. But
This one had a collar. I got it on film.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to pull it up? No.
yeah, anybody recognize this dog?
Yeah,
Yeah.
missing
some
dog.
leashes. We'll donate some leashes to you.
Yeah. There's in it seems like in that particular area, not to be like a stereotype of the people that live
Correct.
there, but it's
Correct.
It's-
It's a rough
you know,
area.
You drive by their house and they got a few dogs that just run around.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a pretty rough area. They probably
Yeah.
got like 20 like abandoned cars there in the
Yeah,
front
that
yard.
kind of
and
you can kind
yeah.
of picture what it would look like, but it's frustrating, yeah. Because I guess it is. I don't know. Gary found in this same area. I think you found a dang cow head back in one of the
Yeah, a
cows
longhorn
out there.
Oh,
steer,
yeah, I
and I
remember the
carried that
picture.
thing out like a mile.
Yeah.
And this thing is like 4.5, almost 5 feet like long.
Yeah, it's a longhorn.
I already shot my buck that first year, and right away, first night, and I just kind of went scouting. I was learning a lot. It's actually you were kind of mentoring me that year, and I was just out there learning, like putting on the miles. And way back in there, about a mile in, there's this longhorn steer head, and I was like, "That's the coolest thing." It was all like bleached out white. I got it hanging in my shop now. It's,
I saw it. Well, I see it every time I go in there. That's
Yeah.
what I'm looking forward to is September 16th when we're all in Wisconsin hunting.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good
That's
time.
gonna be awesome.
All the same guys. I don't know if I think Tim's gonna be by his house though or something, but I'm
I don't
not.
know.
I think
Yeah,
everybody
I
else will
assume
be
so.
there.
Yeah, I
Let's
am
go, Tim.
pumped. I leave for Tennessee in the 26th, 25th, something like that, which is 20 days away.
That's crazy. It's coming quick.
So
Shoot them bows.
that Tennessee hunt, have you decided what you're gonna use, a bow or
I
a
don't
gun?
know. Don't know yet.
That's crazy.
mean,
a gun hunt
yeah.
in
If I don't use a bow,
August?
I have to use. You got to wear blaze orange vest and hat and
Yeah.
all that stuff.
You have that stuff?
Yeah, I got that
right.
stuff. But I might shoot one with a rifle. I haven't shot one with a rifle for a while. So
Yeah. Well, I
it'd
think
be fun. Here's my thinking is I'm a little bit worried because it's going to be. I mean, it could be 110 degrees in Tennessee. That's an exaggeration. It could be 100 degrees though down there. So I'm a little bit worried about meat spoilage and stuff. So I'm thinking like I could take a rifle down there and I, just dump one and then get it out. Whereas with a bow, it's like there's a lot more factors that can go wrong. So like I feel like I don't care what anybody people think, but like the responsible thing may be for me to just take a rifle down there. It's 2 days too. But I'm gonna have my bow with me too. If it's like if the property I'm gonna hunt, it's a piece of private that a buddy of mine kind of found, and there's a lot of rules because it's a CWD hunt, so there's like a lot of weird rules that we had to follow, and certain places on, certain places you can hunt, certain places you can't, and it's kind of confusing. And I'm glad there's a local going to be down there with me, but I don't know. We'll see.
So, you think you have that gun sighted in by then?
Yeah, I got a
what gun is that?
6.5 Creedmoor.
Yeah,
got one from Montana Rifle Company.
And that's pretty. It's pretty sweet looking gun.
Nice unit there.
Yeah, for sure.
So Prime, which is G5 Outdoors, it bought a rifle company, and they're going to start selling rifles. So I got one off them because I don't rifle hunt very often. I don't have a good rifle.
I think Indiana's a $1 state, so usually you have it with their bow, and then you're done. You can't.
Yeah, I can't rifle hunt.
I don't think you party hunt here either with a gun, can you? Yeah,
no,
so
partying.
no partying while you're hunting.
I want to come and rifle hunt some year.
Yeah,
muzzle loader.
It's fun. Yeah, muzzle loader would be a good time for you guys to come.
Yeah, it would be a hoot. But your gun season's right about where ours
is.
Yeah, is it really the same?
Yeah.
It's the second weekend of November every year.
Oh, ours is the third.
Yeah,
ours the week before Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
or
the weekend before Thanksgiving.
Okay, and then we usually run the first weekend in December, so it's 3 full weeks.
Are you kidding me?
What? Mm-hmm. You got 9 days.
There would be 0 deer left.
Right.
Well, that is the only thing probably keeping Indiana from being like a mega state is we have a 3-week rifle season in the middle of the rut. So pretty much all of November, and then that first week of December, all at the end of November.
I believe though in Indiana you got to use muzzleloader or shotgun if you're on public land.
Public land,
or no rifles.
Straight wall cartridge, I think. So like a 44 or a whatever.
Yep. Yeah, so there are some rules. You just can't come out here with your 7mm mag and shoot 300 yards, and yeah.
I'd bring the muzzleloader probably either way then.
Yeah. That's what I would bring.
Probably. I just love muzzleload hunting.
It's pretty fun. I don't think I've ever killed a buck with a muzzleloader.
I shot 2 of them last year with my muzzleloader. First three deer I've ever shot with a muzzleloader was last year.
Oh, really?
I took the muzzleloader out for Wisconsin opener, and then shot an 8-pointer with it and a doe, and then went to Iowa, and that one is actually on the Beast channel. And did a late season hunt with that. So
I don't want to talk about Iowa.
Oh God!
But I have shot a couple bucks with muzzleloader.
Yeah.
One in Iowa.
Yeah. You sure you don't want to talk about it?
No.
I kind of think we should.
Not much to talk about.
I shot a buck in Iowa. It wasn't what I expected.
When someone says that, it's not what you imagine.
No, big ugly is what I call him. Yeah. And he's not big, but he's ugly.
Yeah, very ugly.
But basically, before all the chatter starts, I had a tag for a doe and a buck, but I thought it was a doe. It was in the river bottom, super
tall grass.
Super tall grass. It's
grass.
Dead grass. This deer's antlers looked. I didn't know it had any.
You didn't, yeah. So,
but I had a tag for both.
Oh, you were in like brown grass,
river bottom.
Yeah.
And I made a good shot and everything. We went and found it, and it was a buck.
Well, and Brad was going through some struggles last year personally, and he needed some venison, so he thought he'd take a doe.
You need to shoot something is what you need to do.
Yeah, he needed to shoot something.
It was just need venison.
But I thought it was a doe, which is my error. But I was covered either way.
Yeah,
nothing illegal happened.
Right.
Yeah, right.
but
Yeah, it's
it
an honest
even
mistake.
it
You
even
do.
died under a bush. So I went to pull its back legs out, and I was just in shock.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, it's a buck, and he's like, what? No, it's not. I'm like, yeah. He's like, and there was a couple swear words, like, but after that initial shock, he's like, all right, yep, it's all good, man.
Yeah,
You
whatever.
know,
And it had like, it was a 6-pointer, but it had like the tines were like
yeah.
inch, so it was
Yeah.
just
Right.
It's like a main rack, and it was like
It was-
white, like ghostly white, like
Mm.
weird.
must have bedded in the sun a lot.
Yeah,
But
Mm.
I was happy. I mean, it was expensive
yeah,
expensive venison though.
yeah. $110 a point, we figured, right?
I had 4 points.
Oh,
It was a good memory though. I mean,
fun. Yeah.
It was. I mean, you took it in stride, and we drug it out, and it tasted just as good as any other
that's
deer.
right.
So
Still eating it.
right, but but it was shocking.
Yeah.
The doe turned out to be a buck and not something that
Yeah.
he would have
whatever.
normally shot.
Whatever.
I'm happy about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
we didn't have, for most of our out-of-state hunts last year, we didn't have good conditions. Even Iowa was warm. When we
Oh.
came down here for rut, warm.
Yeah.
It was like 65 degrees, and it was
No,
in January there.
It could happen in Iowa.
Yeah. Yeah, it just shut everything down. And then on top of it, they were dropping their
Antlers.
antlers
Because
like
it was
left
like
and right.
really cold before that, I think. and
Yeah,
then
it was
warmed up
super
and-
cold, and then
Stressed them out.
yeah. So, you get on a buck, and then especially Cody, he was getting on some bucks, and all of a sudden they're dropping, and you'd have to find something else, and finally he just ran out of them, like they were all dropped already,
Yeah.
Right.
or too small for
Not for me.
right.
Well, I'll
you
show
know,
you my standard.
that's but here's the thing though, as we get older, it's not just about the trophy per se.
Right.
It's about the adventure that came with that. And
Right.
I don't know. It's everything that led up to it, and also the hunt.
Right.
So I don't know. It was fun.
Oh yeah.
It was
I mean,
such a
we've had
good
lot
time,
of
man.
good hunts.
Yeah,
where-
I was jealous of your guys' Iowa hunt. It looked fun.
Yeah.
Or it sounded fun. I couldn't look at it, but it sounded fun.
Right.
a lot of laughs.
Oh, it's a lot of laughs. Yeah, Rendell Eric was there too. Cody Hoon. We stayed by Cody Hoon actually. and,
Yeah.
man.
Straight baller.
Yeah, Cody Hoon is like 4'3" or something. No, he's a little taller, but compared to Rendell,
Yeah. It's like,
who's like 6'8".
it was like
yeah.
Twins, the movie. You
Yeah.
got Eric Rendell up here.
Yeah,
Cody's
yeah.
more average height.
But yeah, it was
That's
definitely
a better,
good
way
time.
nicer way of saying.
Yeah,
I'm nice.
Yeah.
yeah.
I've talked to Cody a couple times. I've never met him though, in
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
Rendell, I've met a whole
He's
bunch of times.
hardcore.
Oh,
He's
Rendell
hardcore.
he is funny. He is.
Yeah, he is.
That guy is. It's fun to have him around just for the jokes and the laughs that he brings to the camp.
Yeah, he's a funny guy. He's working for ASIO Gear now.
Yeah, yeah.
He
He quit his full-time job and is there now full-time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
that's crazy. He's living the dream, and man, he tells me over
was
and over
a-
how blessed he is.
He was a teacher, right?
Yes.
And I've heard a lot of teachers have quit
It's a
the
rough
last
job, man.
4 or 5 years.
I
it
know
seems
a
like.
bunch.
My sister
Yeah.
quit. A lot of regulations, a lot of, I don't know, rough to
a lot
talk
of
to
rules.
parents. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like it used to be. Like I had a
Mhm.
teacher that broke a yardstick over people.
Well, she said like she
Smack 'em
would like discipline a kid by just telling them they can't do something. Pretty much, like
Right.
Yeah,
you can't be
You can't
hitting
do anything
someone
about
or
it,
whatever.
right,
right.
She said taught second grade.
yeah.
It's like you can't be hitting him or whatever, and like you get in trouble, get something taken away, or I don't know, whatever they do there. Give them a green star instead of a
Yeah,
purple
yeah.
star, whatever
Yeah.
they do in second grade. But and then like the parents would like you send her this long email like, well, was there a reason that he was hitting the kid, and what did the kid do to
Right.
him? It's like I
Yeah.
think she got
You take
tired of it.
responsibility for your own actions.
Yeah, I
you know?
think
Yeah.
that was
Parenting is different than
Yeah.
what it was when I was younger.
essentially it seems like most parents give their kid any excuse they can to, other than like you said, just own up to it, and you shouldn't be hitting anybody for anything.
It's
in
wrong
second
either
grade.
way. Right.
Okay.
Two wrongs don't make a right.
Yeah.
But
But
yeah,
Well, how many times we heard that?
As kids?
Yeah, a bunch.
I think I got it beat into me.
Yeah, I did too.
But he started it. I don't care.
Yeah, right.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, we're going through that with Huck a little bit right now. He's quite the tattletale
Yeah.
on his cousins and stuff.
Yeah,
So,
it's a phase.
You can just start. You can just like his tone where he starts a sentence where he's been with his cousins or
Right.
whatever, and he'll start a sentence, and you'll be like, "I don't want to hear it, buddy. If it's not something positive, I don't want to hear it."
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
because it's always just silly things like, "Oh, Jack dropped the whatever on the floor." Or it's like, you don't need to tell us that. Like Jack's, 16 months old.
Right. Yeah, I went through that with my kids. And
yeah, I'm
still
sure it's just
sometimes because they're a competition with each other constantly. And it's like,
oh, I bet. Yeah.
It's like,
oh,
I don't know. Sorry, I had to take a drink.
Yeah. So we have hunt September 1st that we're doing.
Yeah, me and Gary going to Nebraska
and
together
your
with my
dad.
dad.
Right? Yep. That's
we
gonna
got we got my dad out climbing with the beast standing sticks he has now.
Yep.
He's had the sticks for a while. He actually has the long ones. He's had them for years now. Whenever the long ones first came out, he got some.
Yep, he still stripped them today.
Yep.
But I think that's going to be a fun hunt. I've never been there. Neither is your dad. You've been there. You shot a deer there, but nice buck last year. So this will be no scouting, no trail cams. I mean, this is as raw as it gets. It's try to figure it out.
Sushi.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sushi.
Essentially. Yeah.
What are your guys' standards then, or what's your goals?
6-pointer, big ugly. No, just kidding.
Go for it.
No, I mean,
respectable buck for me.
like a 120 or better. Yeah. Probably 120 or better.
Depends on what day it is. If it's first day, 120. If it's the last day, maybe
just fill tag.
50. And no, I'm just kidding.
When is there a chance to go back? I know not for you probably,
not
but
for me either.
No. If once I'm back from Wisconsin, it'll be Indiana just until the baby's born. Then I'll probably take a break for a while, and then I have a Kansas tag, so any other spare time I can do something, it'll be in Kansas. But I'll leave for Kansas Thursday to go scouting there.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
This Thursday.
Yeah, in a handful of days here.
That's what I figured.
Yep.
I didn't think we were referencing a Thursday like
in November. Yeah, no. I'll leave for Kansas.
There's not much scouting time left before seasons now. So if you haven't done it, better get out there.
Right?
Yeah. Right now is
it's the toughest right now.
And it's getting to be like the time where it's like, okay, you need to, especially you guys in Wisconsin where you open the 16th, right? Is that when you open this year?
Something like that.
16, 17, somewhere in there.
Yeah. So it's like you need to be wrapping things up pretty fast.
Yeah.
And really it's too late. I mean, you should wrap it all up by now, but
right.
I haven't. I planted a food plot with my dad yesterday and put a couple cameras out, and I still got a couple cameras I need to put out. I don't know if I'm going to get them out, but
yeah,
I'm not worried about it really.
Right.
I'll glass and stuff, find them and go from there. But I went glassing the other night and found there were just so many bucks out the other night. So.
Wow.
Have you guys glassed any this year in Wisconsin?
Yeah,
a little bit.
I did. I found a couple real good ones, but they're a little ways away from public.
Yeah,
I know as soon as things start heating up mid-October, they'll be in where I can get a shot at one. But yeah, I did a few nights glassing. I did a little bit of spotlighting. We can do spotlight in Wisconsin.
Yeah, we can here too.
So I think that definitely helps. But it seems like by us, it's those bucks get nervous with spotlighting. Right. You literally have to be
your vehicle.
You have to be one of the first ones to spotlight them, and otherwise they'll usually take off,
bug out.
Yeah. Yep. So there's so many guys out there spotlighting.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't.
Pretty nuts.
I don't do much of it anymore. I haven't spotlighted in probably 3 years. No,
we spotlighted together.
Yeah, that's
2
right.
Years ago.
Yeah. See, I just lied.
Yeah.
Is that normal?
I try not to.
Spotlighting is one of those things where
my lies are usually accidental.
Right. Yeah. Sure.
Right. Is that? I don't know if that's really a lie.
No, it's not a lie. You're not
on
a
purpose.
Liar. What's that?
Are yours on purpose?
When I lie?
Yeah.
I don't really lie very much.
Oh.
If I do, probably on accident too. But like spotlighting, I was gonna say it's one of those things where it's like 6 o'clock, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna 10, 30, 11, I'm gonna spotlight, and then I'm like, oh heck no. Yeah. I'm tired.
Yeah, I know.
Because I get up early, so it's like, man, but I should get up just a little earlier, probably, and go because till
Morning.
season you can go all night until like a week or something before
Yeah,
the
that may be
season.
the way to do it. Just like on your way to work, like leave an hour early and just buzz around to some places.
Right? Because
Yeah.
it's probably best to go after even like 1 or 2 because there's people that go right at
dusk. Everybody
dusk,
seems to
and
go
it's
right
like,
at dusk,
wow,
and then
That's true.
Not everything's out yet.
Yeah, I'm sure early morning is just as good as. I've never done it. I've never went in the morning like that. Have you?
yes.
Oh, really?
There's last year I couldn't sleep for a few times during the summer, and like literally I would get up at 2 in the morning and
Because you had
was out there.
chiggers.
Yeah, might have.
There's a good chance.
That's the spawn of Satan. Those things are
Yeah.
just terrible. It takes like 2 months to get over those darn.
Yeah, they
things.
like linger forever. Have you had chiggers?
When I was in the Army, I was exposed to them in Mississippi. And
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're horrible. They are horrible.
They like give them to you on purpose out there?
No, you just don't know because you're from Wisconsin and you're out
I
tromping
think he said he
around.
exposed himself and got chiggers.
Oh,
I didn't get any there. I got it on my wrist.
oh, really? Did you have a long sleeve on? They seem to like
They like your where stuff
Waistband.
transitions. They're
Yeah.
really into transitions. You know?
Yeah, help
Like-
systems.
yeah, yeah. But it's the transition of your sock and your pants, that
Right.
going there, your
Pant,
bait
waistband,
waistline. Oh, dude, that's the worst part. Waistline.
No one wants to see you itching there like that. That's a
No.
bad look.
No.
That's a people will start asking questions.
Unavoidable though.
Right?
Yeah. Moral of the story is just scouting this is springtime. Don't worry about summer.
Yeah,
Go play
right.
golf or something. Summertime. No.
Man, it's so
Shoot
much
your
better
bow.
scouting in spring here. It's so much.
It's
I mean,
fun here in
it's
the
weather's
spring.
a lot better.
Yep.
You find sheds, and you see like everything like it was done yesterday
Yeah.
for sign. So it's way better.
And your rubs here don't. The trees grow
They
so
heal
much
up.
faster, and it's
They
like
heal
they
up
heal
good.
up way faster. So you're kind of like, that's.
Could it be from last year, or could
Yeah.
it be from? Yeah,
We saw a bunch like
Yeah,
that today.
yeah.
Yeah. I think if you can see them if you can see the barks peeled up and stuff, I think it's probably from last year still.
Yeah.
I don't think people realize how fast trees can heal up on certain things. It's kind of crazy, especially from April till
right.
August. They're really
Yeah, 'cause
putting-
they're in growing mode.
Yeah. Yeah. I need to scar up one of my trees out here like
And just
October
watch it.
1st and just see
Yeah.
what it looks like
Yeah.
come this fall.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah. I just won't remember to do that.
No.
Yeah. It's good. Good
Take a-
theory.
Yeah.
Do the Dan Infold style, grab a bee stick, start
And, yeah.
rubbing up trees,
Yep.
and mislead guys or whatever.
Right.
I hope nobody's hunting in my little patch of woods back here.
Yeah, right.
They wasting their time. You shoot a bunch of 3D targets back
Right.
there.
Right. You have a full course 3D targets.
Yeah, I
back
have
there.
20 targets back there.
Yeah,
I
that's
think.
way cool.
Yeah.
So-
Should have brought my bow.
I know. I should have remembered to text you. I didn't. Oh well.
I'm over it. I'll be okay.
I was going to ask you guys, what broadheads are you guys shooting this year?
I shoot the Wasp jackknife.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
I don't even know what that is.
It's like
I know
their
Wasp-
jackhammers, kind of their 3-blade expandable.
Yeah.
The jackknife's just 2-blade,
Okay.
125 grain. I've had really good luck with it.
So it's a 125 grain expandable.
Yep, that's what I'm using. I
A lot of people.
like the 2 blades more versus the 3.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of people say they like Wasp broadheads. Not a lot, but I've heard more than one person.
They're solid. They're really solid. I shot a couple deer with them. Everything went well, and I bought a bunch. So they
Using
haven't
them
given
up.
me a reason to change. So
Right,
I'm
sure.
not, I mean, I like all this new stuff and all that, but
Yeah.
Do you feel that people chase gear sometimes more than they do deer? Like,
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
Rendell and I were talking about that the other day. Like, people spend so much time on their gear. If they took that time and put it out there scouting, and they could be more gear, but wow, it just seems like it's. Whew,
There's certain amount of time you need to spend on your gear,
yeah,
but it's not. I mean, why do we? I guess I don't. You do whatever you want if that's what you
Right,
want to
yeah,
do.
right,
Who,
into it.
right.
yeah, who gives a flip? But like, if you want to kill deer, yeah, you gotta be efficient with your gear and good at it, and then move on to
master all aspects of
Right.
start to finish, you know.
But sometimes I feel that some people are just putting so much time in there
There's
versus
also
their
people.
scouting.
Yeah,
and-
there's also people don't put enough time into it though.
right.
For sure.
Yeah, I have a lot of friends that like show up to go deer hunting with me, and they like haven't shot their bow yet this year. You know,
Yeah,
not a
that's-
lot.
yeah.
Just a couple though.
No.
But you know what I mean.
I know
Yeah,
what you're
I've had
talking about.
I've had that experience before.
Hopefully,
they,
everybody's out shooting their bow by now.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
But-
If they haven't, they need to be.
Right. Right. I mean, it's
crunch
only
time.
fair to the deer too.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
you wound one and you know why. That sticks with you, and maybe it's just the old man in me talking, but it's like
Yeah,
you hate to lose one because of that.
Right.
It only takes 10 minutes to shoot your bow.
yeah.
You don't
you don't have to shoot
100 arrows.
Well, it depends too. Some people live in the city and they have to drive to a course
Well,
that's
move.
legal to.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Okay. But I mean,
don't
a
make
lot
excuses
of us.
for people.
Yeah.
Bring it with you when you come home from work. Yeah, I mean, like,
Yeah. That's
yeah,
very
it's,
true.
It's not
right.
easy, but
You get,
okay,
yeah,
well,
it's a mindset
yeah.
for sure.
right. A lot
Yeah.
of things aren't easy, you know.
Yeah, right. No, that's 100% true. I make it as easy as I can for me. Like I have,
Me too.
yeah, I have my stuff set up all the time to shoot.
Me too.
I haven't shot in a few days actually because we were on our little vacation for our anniversary, and then
Yeah. 10
you
years,
guys
right?
got
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
And then you guys got here, and we haven't shot. Dad shot last night though. Dad shot a few arrows.
Yeah, we should have brought our bows just to.
Walk
Yeah,
around.
We
Walk
could have had
around,
time to do it
shoot,
in the
yeah.
evening. Well, by the time you get up in the morning and you go scouting all day in this heat, you get pretty worn out by 3 or 4 o'clock. It's like
I think I drank like 10 bottles of Gatorade
Oh, I
today,
know.
and I
We
still
pounded-
felt dehydrated.
we had none left at the end of the day. We drink
Yeah.
all of our Gatorades.
It's a good workout.
Yeah, a lot
Yeah.
of leg burners.
Yeah, for sure. And those hills, man, 10 miles in those hills, it just feels like 20 miles in flatlands of Wisconsin by us.
Yeah,
I mean, even the swamps are not nearly as hard as those hills.
right,
And
right.
those can be kind of a pain.
I was curious because you're shooting expandables. You guys think like if these podcasts and all this crap was going on, like back in the mid 2000s, that anybody would have a problem with all these expandables?
What do you mean?
Dude, back in the day, everybody shot expandable broadheads.
Right.
Well, it was the latest and greatest. It was a fad,
Yeah.
like everything.
Yeah, but you think like single bevel, all this stuff will be a fad too one day, and then we'll be on to something different. Like, will expandables come back into? Someone will make this awesome expandable that'll change the expandable market,
Well,
and then
I
all
don't
of a-
know. That's
and all of a sudden it'll be like that'll be the thing again.
I think the biggest thing about expandables is they take so much kinetic energy opening up, right?
Yeah,
how
maybe.
does that?
And
I
then
mean,
there's the failure aspect people worry about, you know.
yeah,
And I'll be honest with you, I'm like Zank. I've had tons of good like experiences with expandables. I shot so many deer with expandable broadheads.
but I
And,
also had bad experience with them too.
yeah, I
I've had
haven't
one
very
not
many,
open.
but yeah,
So
and that's what I've heard of. You know, I've it never really happened to me, but I've gotten good at tuning bows and stuff to where I can shoot pretty much any fixed blade I want and get it to fly good.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
was that a dig on me?
no, I'm
No.
just saying. Like
I'm kidding.
I
It could
agree.
be.
Like I agree with you. I haven't had many bad experiences with expandables either. Like a lot of people have,
yeah,
or some people have. Whatever. I don't know.
Well, yeah. People, when they have a bad experience, they'll tell 100 people. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't. I don't know how other people shoot, but I shoot.
I've had bad experiences with fixed blade.
Right. I shoot in the center of the body. You know, I don't try to hard shoot a deer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just center of the body,
Like,
not
try to long him and
right up and down center. I'm not
Yeah.
talking guts, but
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I
yeah,
just
yeah.
stay away from the shoulder,
yeah,
and I want to put a big hole in it,
yeah.
and it's worked for me.
Well,
Yeah.
my dad, probably about 5-6 years ago, was shooting expandables, and he had shot a doe. I mean, he could hardly get around, so he for him to shoot a doe was a big deal at his age, and it didn't expand. It just hardly any blood trail, whatever. And I found out what broadhead he was shooting, and I was not happy. Like, because I know, because I do so much hunting and stuff, I actually took one of his arrows and took it and punched it through a big, thick piece of cardboard. It did not expand.
Hmm.
And after that,
Was he shooting one of the ones that like folds back on itself?
Yes.
Yeah. What those wasps aren't like that, are they?
No,
Oh, I take that back.
They're
It
in
has
front, and they
Yeah.
actually had a split ring on it.
Okay.
And I won't say
know
who
which
it
one.
was, but you guys can figure that out. And it was a split ring.
Rhymes
and
with
it was,
cage.
huh?
Rhymes with cage.
Yeah. And
Sage.
he did, and I did check it to make sure he had it set
Beige.
up right with the
Keep it
slits.
going. Yeah.
Because there's the slits and
Yeah.
all that, and you have that lined up and whatever. And after that, I bought him a package of fixed blade reapers, and he was
the reason I first switched to fixed blades because I had problems with my blades falling apart in my quiver and stuff. I didn't like that. Like I would like get
oh sure,
I would get an arrow out of the quiver and it'd be expanded or whatever. I'm like, dang, you know. And I didn't want to have to. You know, I didn't like it. And then I learned how to tune a bow really well and all that. And I'm like, okay, I can get these things to fly good. Because back in the day, me and my dad didn't really mess with that stuff too much. You'd like tune it at a shop, and then that'd be the end of it.
Right.
And it wasn't always perfect. And then if it's not perfect, a lot of times especially like some larger cutting diameter fixed blades won't fly well if you don't have a good tune on your bow.
Right.
But now I figured out how to do all that. And it's like, okay, I can get all this stuff to work. So for me, it just, if I can get it to fly just like my field tips, for me, I just can't justify, I'm like, I'll just shoot these fixed blades and then all that eliminates them.
I'm not against fixed blades at all.
No.
I
want you to know I'm not against expandables either.
It works for me, and I wouldn't care if you were. I don't care if any of you are.
Right.
That's your problem. Not mine.
Anybody, whatever works for them is cool.
You should have confidence in your setup. If you don't, well, then fix that. Get confidence.
Joe Miles, I talked to him the other day, and dude, he went to Africa and just slayed a bunch of animals with expandable.
I listened to his debate with who is it?
Don Higgins.
Don Higgins, and he made some great points.
Yeah.
Bottom line is you got to be confident with your setup.
Yeah.
Get there. If you're not there, get there.
And it's hard to argue with either one of those guys really, but like you look at Joe's like trophy room, it's like, well, this guy's he's got some
time in.
He got some field knowledge on what works and what doesn't. So it's like it just I don't know, drives me nuts.
I kind of feel though, even if an expandable doesn't expand and you center punch them, it's gonna die.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. So
you can't. I can't blame everything 100% on a broadhead not expanding.
Yeah.
I mean, you still got to be able to center punch them, and I mean, what's nice about it is those really big expandables. They really do put some damage on deer,
dude.
When everything works good,
right?
Oh man,
they don't go far. Well, your son was there, and Brad or Global was there when I shot the last doe, and I think she went like 20 yards, blood everywhere. I mean,
yeah. Oh, they are impressive whenever they work well. And when as long as I mean. I'll be honest with you. I've shot deer in the shoulder with fixed blades and not found them.
Right.
Yep.
2 of them.
Yep.
So
it happens.
Yeah.
And I don't care who you are. If you're gonna wound an animal sometime in your career, in your hunting career, and it does suck, but it makes you. Hopefully, it makes people look at that and say, "Hey, this is something I need to change or do or whatever," and
try to.
Every once in a while I hear a guy, I've never not killed a deer. I've got,
oh man,
and it's
that's
like
a death wish.
Yeah, then that's just it. It's it's probably gonna happen unless you're like shooting over maybe a bait pile where just like literally standing there chewing on stuff or whatever.
Yeah,
not that I'm taking it away from the baiters, but when you're out in the thick shooting some of these deer, it's tough.
You have a very fine time to draw and pull the trigger
on a mature buck.
Yeah. So, where we hunt a lot. It's like, and I'll just expand on that. Whenever someone does have these problems with expandables, whatever, it's like, it's still your fault. So don't blame your equipment.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to get at.
Like take responsibility.
Yep.
It's your fault.
Right. That's what I was trying to get at. Even if it doesn't expand, if you center punch it, it's gonna die.
If you're using expandable, you probably be shoot through brush or like that's all.
Oh right, yeah. I wouldn't shoot through a bunch of tall grass because I got to know your limits, Yeah. But
dude, I shot so many deer with the G5. It was called a Tekken. It was a 2-blade expandable. I shot so many deer with that. Back in the day, that's all my dad shot was when I was even in the 90s. He was shooting something called like a center punch, is what it was called.
Really?
Yeah, it was like I don't know how to explain it, but it was the broadhead, the blades like inlaid into the ferrule, and then the front of it was a point. It had a button. It was like a button point, and that button would go in whenever you hit something, and then those blades would pop out. It's called a center.
Oh, I see. It would kind of change the angle.
I'll look for it. And I'll share it for everybody here. On
I got a question while you're doing that. So, what was the first broadhead you used? Because when I grew up, it was Muzzy or Thunderhead, and I was Thunderheads. But that was all we had. That was all I got to pick from.
And it's kind of funny because I actually have some of those Thunderheads left. They were brand new in the package, and I used them to. I took some of my arrows that I shot deer with that broke. I had the nocks on the back yet, and I made these little small arrows that hang from my rearview mirror. Really cool. And you just those Thunderheads, like literally, were like dull right out of the package versus what they are now today.
Yeah.
But that was the coolest thing back then. Yeah, 125 broadheads at Thunder. Yeah.
Did you ever use tracker string? I
Yes.
missed my first
I
buck.
still have some.
I missed my first buck. I can still, because you didn't practice with tracker string, I could just watch it go right behind the front leg. It was like perfect. Just
all of a sudden it dives.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually have some of those left from back.
That was
in the day.
an amazing invention. Whoever made that.
Yeah, for those people who couldn't track very good, it was perfect. You just follow the string, and I've already done it. Like I got into a swamp once, and there was a string all over the place. Like, what is going on? Just string, and somebody had that tracker string and didn't clean up their mess, and you can see everywhere that deer went.
Right. So if you don't know what tracker string is, you'd hook this little O-ring type deal in between your broad and your arrow, and then you tie a string to it. And
literally a string.
It would a spool went where your stabilizer would go of string, and it would follow the arrow along, and
it would stick. The arrow would go through the deer, but then the string would like stay with the deer. So as the deer's running away, it's pulling out string, and then when it die, the idea was just follow the string up to the animal, and you would.
And even if your string ran out, you still just had to find the string somewhere in the marsh. Then you were golden till it broke.
The good old days.
But that's real.
Actually, started off. What was your first bow?
I had a Proline Raven.
Yeah.
I see. I'm sure some people on here have heard of Dutches, but that was left-handed. I shoot left-handed. I'm right-handed, but that was used $125. My dad said I could spend. TM Hunter Rest.
Yeah.
And I don't remember my sight, but it was just a 3-pin, fixed sight.
Yep.
And my one quick thing, my second, third arrows ever were a Robin Hood.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll never forget the smell of burning aluminum or the friction from the aluminum.
Yeah. I started off with a yellow plastic bow, it was like a recurve that they used to have in the high schools and stuff. And then I actually got my first bow. My dad wasn't much of a bow hunter back then. It was a Browning Nomad, and it actually had wooden limbs on it. A compound bow with wheels and wooden limbs.
Yeah, if you're old.
I shot it so much that the wooden limbs cracked.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
my first was a High Country Force.
Dang.
Yeah, those were fancy compared to what I started with.
Dang.
And I went and bought it at a. So I got it for Christmas, but it wasn't. I didn't get it for Christmas. It was like a note that was like they wrote a note to me like, you can buy you a bow. We'll go to the bow shop and get one. And so we went to this local bow shop in town here, and they didn't have one I could pull back. Like I was like 10 years old, They didn't the youth bows weren't really a thing back then,
Get one that.
So he sold it to us and told us to go to the hardware store and buy longer limb bolts, like go buy the whatever thread size it was. And then I think he switched it out for us to where it had longer limb bolts so we could loosen it up more.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I think that's how that went. I was pretty young, but I seem like I remember that happening.
Look at the bulls.
Because I remember I was upset that I couldn't take it home, that we had to go work on it.
You wanted to shoot it.
You're already brand new and you had to already change it.
Yeah. So I'll show you guys this. I found these broadheads. I didn't find the broadheads I shot because I'm tired of looking for them, but these were the concept, the exact same concept.
Oh, thorns. Yeah.
No,
a lot of Raven shooters shoot thorns.
That wasn't what they were, though.
Right.
That's just what I.
That's the same idea, though. Same concept.
Exact same idea.
My dad used to shoot those thorns.
So this is what they look like. Can you see them, Zank?
I can.
It's like what they look like, and then they would expand. Like the tip would go in when you shot it. You guys can see that there, and then the blades would pop out. That's what I used back in the day. With however much weight I pulled, wasn't very much.
I was gonna say that's scary.
But I mean, I killed deer with them back then with that.
So what
And
was
wait a minute, listen to this.
Oh boy.
So back the ones I had, there was one of them rubber bands that went around the blades, to keep them in.
Yeah.
My cousin never had heard of like expandables back then. Like he didn't know what they were. So I would go hunt with my cousin. And the first time I went home with my cousin, he got my quiver and he cut all those rubber bands because he thought they were like, I was supposed to take them off.
Package.
Yeah. And so
Yeah, like a
he
safety
cut them
thing.
off and then got them all expanded for me. And I shot my first doe with that, with the expandable that he expanded for me before I shot it.
That's nice, accurate broadhead.
Right. So what was the let off on your first bow?
Oh, dude, I wouldn't know.
65.
I was 50.
Yeah.
That old Nomad was only
couldn't have been
50%
very
let
much.
off. And wheels on it is now. What are the bulls like 85% let off? That's crazy.
My bow's not even that new. I'm shooting a Bowtech Experience, but
yeah, those are pretty fast bowls, though, right?
yeah, it's plenty.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not getting
Right.
a new bow anytime soon. I just
Right.
get a new string every other year, and
Right.
I'm not. I think bows are insane right now.
Yeah, they're expensive. Some of those are what $2,000 just for a bare
Right.
bowl.
Right.
I'm like,
Yep.
Mine shoots fine, and I'm used to it. And well, I did. The Elder Wolf made me a recurve or a self bow. A good friend of mine. So if I start shooting anything, it would be that. It's really cool.
Something different. You call him Elder Wolf.
That's what he signs his bow, his custom.
Oh, it's like his
It's not a company. He just does it for friends and stuff.
Yeah.
And
that's what he calls them. Those.
That's
Elder
what
Wolf.
he calls his.
That's kind of a cool name.
Yeah. Well, he's an Elder Wolf.
Mm.
But he has I think, did I show you? He had like a snakeskin epoxied into
Yeah,
it.
that is way cool.
Yeah,
We need to bring
it's
it
like
here.
real primitive. I mean, it's just a little notch where you put the
It's
arrow.
actually not epoxied onto it. That's just how it's like. He probably just blacked it with like glue.
Yeah,
glued it on.
wood glue.
Mhm.
I don't know how he did it, but it's.
Yeah,
I'm very
he's-
appreciative, and it's a really cool
Yeah, it's a
thing.
cool bow.
And
I saw
would
it.
see getting into that more.
Yeah.
Not that I'm not one of these trad guys, so
Yeah. Well, I'm
Yeah,
not either.
I'm a wannabe.
Well,
like
you
the
shot a
idea
nice
of it.
buck last year with your.
My longbow.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
That was an awesome hunt. Really.
Yeah, but I don't claim to be like a trad bow hunter. Like I
No,
just hunt whatever I
right.
feel like hunting with, and
Right.
I have fun with all of it.
You
Like
don't need a big label for everything.
No, not at all.
No.
Like the only reason I took that longbow out that day, I don't know why I even took it out. I just I'm gonna take my longbow today, and then I shot a buck with it. Like,
That's great.
I wasn't committed to
Yeah.
like anything. I've killed a bunch of deer with one, and
But that was your
hog
biggest
and-
for the longbow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That was a nice buck for sure.
Mhm. Yeah, I got him back the other day. He's in there now.
Yeah.
But and then just I took a turkey hunting once and shot a turkey with it. Don't really have a desire to shoot another turkey with one.
That's gotta be tough.
Yeah, it was. It's tough. A lot of people do it though. I mean, it's not impossible for sure. So
I'd put an expandable on there when you do it.
with you talking about getting people angry.
Oh boy, here we
I'm
go.
kidding. I know that ain't gonna work for you.
It would work.
Yeah, it'd
Would it?
work. Yeah, it'd work.
You get through
The
their wing
turkeys?
with that?
Sure.
I don't know. Never tried it. What do I know? I've never shot a expandable out of a longbow.
Let
at a
us
turkey.
know out there, people.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that dude, you hit the nail on the head with what you just said about like people like putting everything in a bubble. Like it is bad that way.
Yeah, well, everyone's got to be special,
Well, yeah, and that's just it. I think there's just, in the hunting community itself, there's just so much bickering going on. You got to have a tree stand. You got to have a saddle. You got to have, you can't have a crossbow, but you can have this freaking $5,000 vertical bow. But it's just hunt your hunt, man. Do what you think is right. Do what makes you happy.
Yeah.
Don't worry about what other people think. Don't tell other people how to hunt. I mean, unless they're asking.
Yeah.
So it's remember that, people. It's just we're all here for the same reason. So have fun with it. Don't worry about what other people are doing. Just get along. It's just
Yeah. What did I heard something the other day? I can't remember who was. I listened to a bunch of weird podcasts, like non-hunting related stuff, but like whether it be a motivational podcast or just like a creator podcast, like an entrepreneur podcast or something. But they're saying they're talking about critics,
Mhm.
and like they're saying that like any type of criticism of, especially over the internet criticism, it's probably someone that has some unwanted or a need that isn't fulfilled in their life that they're upset about that you're fulfilling in your life, and
or they're insecure. Like you're basically being insecure about your own stuff. I think a lot of it is. I hear a lot. I eat really people think weird type stuff, and it's like I don't care what people say about it, but it's like, why are you coming at me with it? Like, this is, I'm happy with it. I do what I do.
Yeah.
You don't need it. I mean, I don't care, but you're basically showing me that you're insecure.
Right.
You're not making me insecure. You know what I mean? So it's like, work on you.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Same with all this other stuff.
Some people are excited to shoot a 6-pointer out there. You know what?
Yeah, like Zank.
The trophies and the trophy.
Damn right.
You know what?
Damn right.
And you know what? That's just it.
I want a big.
We will
6-pointer.
remember
I
that
do too,
6-pointer forever. Like, this is going to be something to be talked about forever and have fun with. But if you're happy with shooting a 6-pointer or 4-pointer or spike buck, so be it. You know what?
Yeah,
Go
who
ahead,
cares,
have fun,
dude.
man. If
Right.
the trophy's in the eye of the beholder.
You talk about. Go ahead.
And why bring that person down?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Why talk down to them? Like, let's shake their hand and say congratulations, nice deer. And
I'm happy.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Dude, I would give anything if I could have like my grandpa like talk on one of these things, because dude, it was just like a different world with him.
Right.
Same with
Like,
my dad.
My grandpa was a very good hunter of everything though. Like, he would hunt everything. And dude, he would get pissed if I passed a buck. I mean, any kind of buck. Dude, I tell you this story. I don't know if I told this on here before. And this is the 7-year or whatever, you can't get in trouble after 7 years or whatever that law is.
Right.
And I was also, I had to have been like between the ages of 10 and 15. I don't know how old I was, because I wasn't driving. I couldn't drive, but we were coming back from a hunt out a place we had permission from, and this little 7-pointer walked across the road in front of us, just like randomly across the road driving home in the morning, like after a morning hunt, like at noon. It just ran across the road in front of us. He like slammed on the brakes. He's like, "Get out there and shoot that thing." And it's like my grandpa. Yeah. So I'm like, "Oh, okay. And I'm kind of like, "Well, who owns the property and all this?" He goes, "We got permission here." And I'm like, "Okay," and I walk out, and the 7-pointer, I'm like, "I'm never going to catch up to this thing."
Right.
It ran into this wood. I'm never going to see this thing. So I like walk up down this finger. I know exactly where I was at, and I walked down this finger, and I kind of just was halfway entertaining him.
Yeah, I'll go try.
Yeah. And I kind of stood there on the finger. I look up, and there's a herd of does running to me across the field. And he can see them, like it's out in the field. He can see them, watch them run right to me, and they run right to me. And I didn't shoot one. I didn't shoot any of them. And they ended up seeing me. And I was kind of hidden, but not really. I was kind of up in the open in the woods, and they were in the field. And they saw me, turned around, ran the other way, and I didn't think anything of it. And I got back to the truck, and my grandpa never got mad at me, and like he was very disappointed in me for not shooting one of those does.
He was in the red.
Yeah. And yeah, we'd pass a little dinky buck, and he'd be like, "That may have been the one with your name on it this year, and you didn't shoot it." He'd just be like,
"Yep, you could have. You had your chance.
You may not get another one to walk by you this year." And I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Well,
yeah,
I will."
One year I was in northern Wisconsin. My dad was a meat hunter.
Yeah,
that's what I was brought up as.
Yeah,
and for those people out there that aren't meat hunters or never were meat hunters, you know what? Awesome, man. Because I tell you, to become a mature buck hunter, you have to break a lot of those bad habits. But anyways, we're driving down this logging road way up in northern Wisconsin. I was young, and my grandpa was along, and my dad. And my grandpa and my dad, there was always a little friction between those two. As a kid, I loved my grandpa more than anything. Yeah. I love my dad too, but there's something special about your grandpa,
right?
So anyways, 2 deer run across in front of the truck, and my dad, I swear that guy was like a sniper. He jumps out of the truck and he runs into the woods, and those 2 deer stopped behind this hill.
Mm-hmm.
And they start feeding, and you could just see their heads. One would like feed on this like grass that they were chewing on,
and
then it would lift its head and the other one would put its head down. And they just kind of did this thing for about 5 minutes. And my dad finally, he puts his rifle up and the next one to put its head up, bang. He goes over there, and me and my grandpa is like almost like mad because like, what are we doing? This is, he was old school. You have to be in your stand and you have to, or your stump, because he was more of a stump sitter. And then that's how my dad, he was a opportunist.
Yeah.
And sure enough, he shot one in the head, and he gets up to it, and it is the smallest deer I've ever seen in my life. I mean, it was terrible. And back then you had to register deer at the local bar, gas station, whatever.
At the bar?
Yeah. There was big time registration
You
stations.
Wisconsin people, I swear.
So we go into town, we go to the bar, and people see this little thing. It is so small. It's like a dog. And my dad's embarrassed. And we're walking in, and one of the guys that was leaving a bar sees this little thing, and he starts yelling, "Hey, Joel, make sure you tie your dog up. Look at this. He'll shoot it." And he just started giving him a hard time. Of course, my dad was just embarrassed. My grandpa gave it to him, too. "What do you shoot that little thing for?" He's like, "Well, I was the first one to put its head up." It was an impressive shot, but I'll never forget that. It was funny. My grandpa gave him so much heck about that.
I passed a deer opening day. I shot one with a bow. I was probably like in my teens at some point. I don't know what. I can't remember what year. Yeah, and I passed two bucks opening day, and they're decent, pretty nice bucks, And when I told my grandpa about it, he was upset. Like he was like, "We'd find a tag for that thing. You should have shot it." I'm like, "Oh gosh, Grandpa." But like back, I don't know. It's just different. A different time period. Different. Right. I mean. But when he was growing up, and like he did have dementia, and in his older age, I think a little bit of that was creeping in when I was hunting with him, because I think maybe he was thinking about when he was back in the day when you could shoot a couple bucks here in Indiana. Back in the day, I don't think you could shoot does in Indiana. I think you could only shoot bucks. Anyway, so there's probably a little bit of that was going on that we didn't know about yet.
Yeah.
But it was entertaining hunting with him. Like, and he couldn't sit still. He couldn't sit still anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he would, like you'd be sitting there in your tree stand, and you could see, like where we hunted at was very open, a lot of fields and stuff. And you would like, from your stand, you could see like, oh, Grandpa like sat for 30 minutes, and he would just like get up and walk around.
Start walking around.
I was gonna say, did he eat black licorice, or was
he
peeling pistachios?
It was like
peanuts out of the jar.
Dude, it was
chewing or something.
Yeah, he didn't chew he chewed when I was young, and then he quit. But it was Ridley chewing gum and like that cough, almost like cough drops. I don't know what they were exactly.
Ludens.
Yeah.
It was more like candy than it was cough drops.
Yeah, it wasn't always like you didn't really want candy from Grandpa.
Yeah.
But the best memories I have was fishing with him, though. He was a gigantic fisherman. I mean, when he retired, he's been retired my whole life. I don't remember him ever not being retired, but he fished every single day in the summertime, And so he had a 14-foot John boat, and he only had trolling motor on it, and he never bought a regular motor for it. And we would go to Monroe Reservoir with it, and which is a big reservoir, and take us forever. What felt like whenever I was that little hunting with him, it felt like the biggest journey ever. Like we were on this lake. I thought we were on this big we were on this big lake, and we would like go to this area, and like in my mind that was Monroe Reservoir. Well, later in life, I fished there when I had a boat and had a 150 horsepower motor on it, and so I could actually go to Monroe Reservoir. And come to find out, we were like in this little bitty cove that was probably 200 yards across, and there was a boat ramp that was like hidden. You couldn't even see. The only thing you could get into it was a little John boat, and that's where he'd put in. And like I got there, I'll never forget like the years years went by, because I probably stopped fishing with him when I was like 12 years old and we moved away. And I just remember like when I was in my 20s, I'm gonna go find where me and Papa used to fish. And I got there, I'm like, this is like a kind of a big pond almost, like it's just a cove in the lake. And I'm like, but it felt like a journey. Yeah, it felt like the biggest journey. And I always thought his boat was so cool, and like thought it was big. And my cousin has it now, and I remember like seeing it later in life. I'm like, way smaller than I remember it. being.
Everything seems bigger when you're young.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and then I remember
More of an adventure.
I remember like sometimes the trolling motor wouldn't work, and we'd row. We just row then.
I love it.
And my grandpa on my
But
mom's side,
yeah, go ahead.
He actually worked at Kohler Company when in his younger years.
Yeah.
Didn't like it.
Yeah,
He wasn't a factory guy, and they had just started stocking salmon in Lake Michigan, salmon and rainbows, and so he was a big fisherman, and he decides to go out and go fishing.
Yeah.
That's every minute he could when he wasn't working at Kohler, he'd fish. Well, people start paying him to go fishing, and he actually started a charter business. He's one of the first people to charter in Sheboygan, Wisconsin. So here he is. He quit his job at Kohler, and that's what he did for the rest of his life was charter fish. And he actually invented what's yellowbirds. I don't know if you know what those are. Those are planers. And it's kind of cool. He'd go to Texas during the winter months when there was no charters going on, and they would spend their winters there. And he saw fishermen surf fishing using somewhat similar to a planer board to get their lines off the beach and way out there. And he's like, I bet you I could use that for my boat. So he designed a planer board, which actually was one of the first planer boards ever, and started making them out of wood. I actually have some of the original planer boards in packages yet. They were made out of wood. And he started a small business, and he'd go to sports shows when like Milwaukee had to wear these canary yellow tuxedos for yellowbirds. It was almost ridiculous.
Yeah,
but,
cheesy.
And he would, do his charter fishing. It was pretty cool. I used to package those releases as a kid. I think at 10 cents for every package of releases that I packaged by hand.
Nice.
I'd put them in the bags with their split rings and all that and staple it. And it was, I don't know, it was kind of cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
my grandpa had a best friend named George, and he lived down here on the river in a shack, like legitimate shack. He only had one leg. And he had a wooden leg. He had a wooden leg.
Was he related to Matt Foley?
Him and Matt lived on the river down here in a shack. It was a shack like the size of this kitchen, though. He lived down there, and it had a lean-to off the back of it. And I remember he always kept bait in like one of those big tin tubs that were about the size of this, like a watering tub like you have for cattle. He kept bait in there.
Sure.
Anyway, they kept their minnows and stuff. And he would ride his four-wheeler to my grandpa's, which is this house I'm sitting in right now, was my grandparents' house. And we'd go fishing in the morning, and we'd leave at like 4 a.m. to go because the lake is an hour drive from here. And George would come. I'd sit right here. This was a dining table, and Grandpa would make at 4 a.m. he would make eggs and mixed in with deer meat. It was just eggs and deer meat mixed together. Ground meat, yeah. And he made that every morning, and I would sit here and eat, and I could see George's four-wheeler lights coming through. I knew it was like time to get going, Anyway, he was a smoker, a real heavy smoker, and he would fall asleep on the way to the lake, and every time his cigarette would like burn to his mouth, and he'd like shake up. And my grandpa had this little like 1986 Nissan pickup, and it was one of those ones where you had to sit like this in the back seat, and like sideways in the back seat. Of course, I sat back there.
Steady cab, right?
Yeah,
yep.
And so George had that one leg. He only had one leg. Well, we'd every now and again we'd go catfishing. We'd catch some big flatheads and stuff, and they would set in the instead of putting them in a cooler or something, they would just lay them in the bottom of the flat, the boat, the 14-foot boat. Well, my grandpa and George told me that one of them catfishes bit George's leg off, and that's how he lost his leg. And so I was terrified of catfish when I was younger. Like I didn't want to have nothing to do with those big ones, because they told me George lost his leg because catfish bit it off when they got into the boat. I think he had diabetes or something.
That's amazing.
But
There's some good catfishing here in southern Indiana.
Yeah,
right?
the White River.
I'd like to really try that.
Me too.
sometime.
Yeah.
Anybody out there want to take us?
Yeah.
Next summer.
We went on that float trip, me and Maddie, in the canoes and the kayaks, and I caught some catfish. I've caught some catfish on the river. Back in the day with my grandpa, we caught a bunch of them.
Yeah, he probably knew all the holes
Yes.
too, right?
Yeah, him and George did.
I mean, I think it'd be fun doing that. Was it noodle fishing or bottle fishing or whatever they call it?
They did a lot of limb
It's like a
lining.
trap line on water.
Set line or
Yeah, they did a lot of that. They did a lot of limb lining back in the day. I got pictures, or I don't, but my grandma has pictures of grandpa with tons of big catfish or some big, 50 pounders.
Wow.
Yeah.
Obviously, I used to be a big trapper and used to run 300 traps. And I kind of think that's like trapping, but
different
in a river, for catfish. I think that would be a hoot.
Yeah.
Someday on the bucket list.
I'd like to get back into fishing more. It was such a big part of my childhood.
Me too.
We fished so much.
I was hardcore every day.
Yeah. I still have my boat. You know how many times I went fishing this year?
Zero.
I was in the woods all the time.
I know.
It's all year I've been in the woods.
Yeah. I mean, I'm talking about, we had, when I was growing up, we had a little pond behind our house. And man, I hate to say how many hours I spent fishing in that pond. And then my grandpa would take me fishing.
Best memories ever.
Yeah. And then I'll never forget, like I can remember this as like it was yesterday, but we got that house and there was that pond back there and I'd fished it for a while and not really. I was a little kid. Not really. No, my dad didn't fish either. My dad never really was into fishing. My grandpa kind of burned him out on fishing. And I vividly remember my grandpa the first time he came to that pond. And like, I was thinking like, I'm going to figure it out now. Like grandpa's going to show me what to do. Like, I remember that. And yeah, I can still remember what he said to me. Like, you just need to, I would just start here and I would fish here and then fish here and then fish here and then fish here. And then eventually you just remember where you caught the fish, and then that's where you need to fish. And I'm like, okay, I remember that. Like I can hear him saying it right now.
I bet you he loved it as much as you.
Oh, I'm sure he did. I mean,
I have grandchildren of my own. I'm looking forward to that now.
It's it's weird with the things you remember.
I'm a grandpa twice over, 3 times actually.
Yeah.
Remember what I used to do with my grandpa? Oh, were you?
Nope.
I would pick rocks in the field. That was our bonding time.
Really?
Wow.
Oh, I've tried that.
That doesn't sound as fun as fishing.
That's not fun.
No, my dad didn't fish. My grandpa didn't fish. They're all about work.
Yeah. Well,
is that the farm that you're talking about in Ripon?
There's 2 farms, but yeah.
Yeah.
He'd go there with the front end loader, and he'd just point from the top.
Oh, fun!
I mean, he was nice, and we baled hay and stuff. He wasn't like mean. Well, he could be mean, but that's just what we did. Children were labor.
Yeah. My grandpa wasn't that way. He was retired, and he lived the only thing he was very into was his garden, and like we plant our garden every year. And I'm always just like, his garden always looked perfect, like not a weed in it. Everything was like lush and just.
Is that where your uncle gets that from?
Maybe, I don't know. But
he had potatoes there. I just kind of was laughing.
Yeah, and
86 jars, whatever.
Every year I'm always thinking, because our garden gets weedy every year, just all that kind of stuff. And every year I'm just thinking like, how did he do this? But then kind of like then I think about it, I'm like, oh wait, he was retired and didn't have a job, and that's like his hobby. That's what he liked to tinker with.
I put chickens in my garden now, so it's much easier to maintain them.
The chickens? Are you sure?
So you got rid of the garden and you got chickens now?
Yeah, the fence now holds chickens.
I was gonna say.
Most of the time, except for those 3, they got murdered by a coyote. But
find a foot here.
I'm not sure they're dead, but I did find one of their feet.
Yeah.
Poor kids.
Oh gosh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, it happens. I mean, not proud of it, but
that's life.
That's right.
Chickens
and
Zank, they lived a much better life in your house than they do in other places.
Right.
That's what I hear. There's a chicken expert around here, so
yeah.
Go ahead, Maddie. You already get your cereal box.
Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, there was a few here, and I'm way behind.
Plumbing questions?
There was a couple. That's what I was laughing at earlier to myself because I saw some plumbing questions. Justin asked if you get a. Sorry, guys, we got this. My sister's dog we're babysitting it, and it kind of. I don't know.
It's new to the territory, so it's barking at everything.
Anyway,
yeah,
that wasn't as bad as I thought it was. He barks for a long time sometimes, but if you get a buck pick and don't ever see him again, how do you track him down?
I would move on.
Yeah.
Or, I mean,
it depends on when the buck pick.
Yeah.
happens.
When is it?
Well, let's give a scenario.
One picture.
A lot
of
times a buck will move through, with like
mid-October.
Or he'll go in and like you'll see him once at 11 a.m. or 11 p.m. or something.
Yeah.
Like in the middle of the night.
Can't put a ton of stock into that.
Yeah.
It's cool to see them, but
Yeah. Also, like if you get him in daylight though, like he may be just around there and not walking by your camera every
Yeah, I was gonna
time
say,
he
Right.
walks,
If you know the area and you know the bedding, then go
Mhm.
do some scouting on the
Yep.
edges. See if
I
you're seeing
kind of feel
rubs.
I run a lot of cameras.
Yes.
And I definitely feel that for every picture of a buck that I get, he probably came through there 4 or 5 other times I did not get pictures of. So you can't always put stock in that. A few years ago, I was hunting in Wisconsin opening night on some public land, and I had a Tacticam out, and I got like pictures of 2 deer. There was 19 deer. I was sitting near that Tacticam to be able to see that. There was 19 deer.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I think I put you in that spot that one time when you're hunting. There's all
One of the very
does
first time I hunted there.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember that.
and 19 deer. I would never have believed it. Like, according to Tacticam, 1 doe came through, twice, and I never, ever in a million years, would have thought, wow, all these deer around here, and this is all I got. So you can't always put stock into trail cams,
No.
and they'll give you some good ideas of what's going on, but you can't always take that as gospel.
Not like every deer that went through that area is
Correct.
on there.
Correct.
Yeah.
I mean, if a deer just gets just out of range, like I have a lot of scrapes that I put my cameras on. Sometimes they'll scent check it. You won't get a picture of them, but they did come through.
Yeah.
Yeah. How often are you checking that camera? Are you in there all the time?
Right. There's so much that goes
know.
into it. So many variables.
I don't think that they have to. Like some people are under the impression that if there's a scrape there, they're going to go there every time. It's like I
Right.
don't think they do.
I watched it last year in Western Wisconsin.
they
I watched a
don't-
buck scent check a scrape that I was sitting over, and he never came within 50 yards of that scrape. He
Yeah.
literally came, scent checked it, and then turned right around and went back from where he came from. It was, I kind of wish I have video of it, but I never actually posted it.
Yeah. It's the thing about cameras is if you get a picture of him, it's like a sure, like where he's at, but it's like it's not necessarily, the final straw for everything.
Yeah, he exists. You got to figure him out now.
Yeah, you know where he was at the second that picture was taken.
Yeah.
That's
Now you
it.
need to
somewhere
figure him
else.
out.
Yeah, now
Yep.
cast your net or whatever.
All right, let's see here. Gary's workmate here, Matt, had a question.
Oh boy.
He
Give
says,
us some dirt on Gary.
Yeah. When scouting and you find historical rubs, but nothing looks like it in the past 2 years, so he's saying it looks like old rubs. Would you consider that as a food specific spot or just a historical buck that chose that spot?
Ooh, that could be both.
Yeah. Yeah, it could have been just some a random buck in an area because of a doe or something, chased a doe into the area and he got
Right.
Well, I kind of
Right.
feel
Hooked up.
by us, like we've had it even here in Death Valley where all of a sudden there's like 4 shooters and something happens to them or a lot of pressure comes in and it pushes them out. So, but then I've also had it too where there's historical rubs there, but the only time they're actually in there is during rut. See, and that's where you need to be able, if you have trail cams, put a trail cam in there and see, and let it soak.
Let it soak, yeah.
And then you'll know for sure. So I've got some bucks right now that I'm actually got history of from last year during rut, and they'll be back. Like there was one big 10-pointer that like literally every year for 3 years in a row he was in the same spot, but I was just always like a day behind him. So
Chad asked about the acorn crop here in Indiana this year.
I know the red oaks. Yeah. The white oaks. Yeah. Like I said, I gave Zank my truck, so my binos were in there, but
mine were at the house here.
Yeah. So it was kind of an impromptu thing. I should have brought some.
Call the DNR on that one.
Yeah, they probably.
I'm just saying I wouldn't know.
Yeah,
you've only been here for 48 hours, so
yeah.
I give you the acorn report.
Yeah, I may grab some binos sometime next week or so and go searching around, look around a little bit better. That was my thoughts today though. Was I didn't see many white oaks and I saw a lot of red oaks.
Yeah.
But the trees are really tall here too. It's like, I mean,
Right.
just saying, like,
See,
like sometimes
you get
west
some
you'll be on the
binos.
edge and there'll be low branches.
But
where you
we've
can
also
see
had a
them.
lot of wind and stuff here lately, storms. So I think have
You
a
would
little
think
bit
you'd
of-
see some more laying on the ground
Yeah, I
or
did.
from the
Yeah.
squirrels knocking them down, but
Right.
it's kind of, yeah,
yeah, a lot of little red oaks laying around though.
right.
Andy asks, how does the brightness or brightness or darker nights affect deer movement or fog? I think this is probably asked when we were talking about spotlighting and stuff. So
During the lighter nights, I kind of feel I see more movement
yeah,
earlier in the night than later.
I'd say for me, the best is if it rains and then it stops.
Yeah, everything
That
moves out.
just seems like it's magic.
Yeah.
And I mean, like a good rain or something, and it stops.
But I think are you talking rain or actually like
no, he just
moonlight?
was saying the brightness or darkness of the night. Like,
Yeah, so like the moonlight.
yeah,
like the ambient light
Yeah.
without a light.
you've always like heard rumors that like it's brighter at night.
Those deer move at night.
better.
Yeah. And
I
I've
never-
actually seen
never
it.
really-
I actually seen it where I've seen less daytime movement there during
Yeah.
those times.
Yeah, sure. But
Yeah, less daytime movement when it's really bright out at night.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I
Yeah.
agree.
They're
with that
moving
for
around
sure.
during the night.
Yeah, but as far as spotlighting,
Yeah.
I don't really do much with the weather. But if it did rain and stop, then I
Oh,
seems
yeah.
like they're all out.
even
yeah.
glassing. Even glassing. It's like if it stops and you got 45 minutes of good light, they'll be out.
Yep. For sure.
Let's see here. This is interesting. Noah T asked, he's ever seen a doe trying to kill another doe's fawn?
No.
I haven't either. He
Oh.
asked why they do that. I'm not sure if they do that.
Territorial.
I think they do that.
Yeah.
Maybe that's so.
Territorial.
Maybe
There's-
that fawn's mom got run over or something, and
Well, I think it's I've seen it already back in the probably 25 years ago when I used
Those
to
are different
bait.
now.
Those, yeah, they're different now.
they've evolved.
Yeah. No, I've actually seen it where does will like beat up other like there's some more subordinate
Oh,
does.
I've seen does fight with each other.
Yeah,
but
and they'll
not
chase.
fawns.
They'll literally chase off the fawns and stuff off the bait until they
Oh.
finish eating, and they'll kind of move off. Of
Hmm.
course, unless a buck moves in, but that was a long time ago.
Noah asked, what's the best deer rifle of all time?
Mine.
What do you got?
It
You gotta-
kills 6-pointers
Yo.
good.
That was a muzzleloader.
Oh,
I don't know. I like my 270, but I mean, how would
I don't
anyone
know,
really
30
know
aught
the
6.
answer? But 30-06 probably killed more
in
deer
Wisconsin.
than anything.
In Wisconsin, yeah, 30-06 is probably your. I don't know what it is in Indiana.
It's
But
12 gauge.
yeah,
It was for a long time.
Long
It was in
time.
Wisconsin too. At
Yeah,
least
yeah.
southern
Well,
Wisconsin.
Southern Wisconsin. Yeah.
Zeke, which is James.
Yep.
Is he was in the army too. He's asking.
Zeke.
He's did
Hey,
did
thanks for
Zank-
your service,
yeah.
Zeke.
Yeah,
Or
thanks.
James. I'm sorry.
did Zank deploy, and if so, where and when?
Deployed in 2004, Taji, Iraq, just north of Baghdad, between Baghdad and Camp Anaconda. But I was doing convoys, so I was all over.
Yep. What's his MOS?
My MOS 92 whiskey, water purification.
There you go. Maybe
It was 77 whiskey when I joined. Now it's 92 whiskey.
oh really? What
Yeah.
causes them to change that?
They drink whiskey now.
Change stuff all the time.
Oh,
I don't
really?
know. Yeah, I don't know. But what about you, Zeke? What were you?
There you go. Zeke's dad, probably.
Yeah, it's James.
Yeah. Zeke's dad. Zeke is the little boy.
Oh, he's on his dad's account or what?
No,
he's
Zeke Outdoors is their account.
Oh.
but
Yeah.
Zeke is his son's
his son.
name.
Oh, okay.
It's a pretty
Uh,
cool deal, actually.
Yeah, they
Zeke
got a cool
is
thing
their
going.
son, and they kind of do a little bit of videotaping, right?
here's a yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Here's a water softener question for you.
Oh
All
boy,
right.
who sent
Is
this?
there a good online resource for calculating water softener, sizing, material, etc.?
Just message me. Tell me the hardness of your water, and I'll tell you.
So you just got to tell you their hardness.
No, what you do is you take the hardness of your water. So if it's like a 30,000 grain softener, which would be a 1 cube softener, divide that by the hardness of your water. That'll tell you how much capacity your softener can regenerate. So then you
Are
take
you making
that.
this up?
No,
Oh my
this
God.
is fact. So I don't know. Just message me. I'll calculate it for you. It's a little more complicated than that, but yeah, there is online stuff. Just type it in. I don't know how to tell you.
Google it.
Google it.
But
Yep.
seriously, you can message me. I'll help you.
There you go.
It's
Bradley Zank on Facebook. You have a Facebook page for your company?
I do, but it's private. But if he wants to ask to be invited, if he messages me, I'll invite him.
There you go.
I don't like just opening the doors to stuff.
Yeah, I understand. Mark asked if I'm hunting the reduction zone in Indiana. I'm not probably this year, Mark. Got too much going on in September. And also, Mark, I do not have a discount code for Stealth Outdoors, but it's not expensive anyway, so
You don't need one.
Yeah.
it's not horribly expensive.
No,
stuff.
What do
not
you
at
spend?
all.
$50.
Yeah,
You know, you can get everything you need.
yeah. It's a
Get a
Lou
hoodie.
makes a good
Yeah.
good
Get a hoodie.
affordable product that works good. Let's see.
Lou's got to eat.
That's true.
He's got to feast.
Yeah.
He's been a supporter since day one of this show too. So
He's a good guy.
yeah.
Well, who you want to support, Lou or Walmart? Let's go. Buy something from Lou.
Yeah, right.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
You probably got a $50,000 truck.
Yeah. All right, like Gary does. No.
Yeah, thanks, buddy.
Mark also asked, what kind of longbow do you recommend for a beginner with no experience in trad? I would get either a Samick Sage or a Black Hunter is what's called. Those are the two I would get starting off. They're super cheap and they shoot pretty good. So look up Jason Samkoviak, Traditional Bow Hunting and Wilderness podcast on YouTube, and he has a good video about those two bows. And
Isn't that who you going hunting with? No.
Nope.
Oh, that's right. Yep. You're going with
Dave
okay.
from
Yep.
Razor Broadheads. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. But those are the two I would look up there, Mark. Let's see here. Well, there may not be. Oh, there's more comments. Wait a minute here.
Still thinking about that softener question.
Oh God, here we
That
go.
guy, whoever did that, better message me because I want to figure this out for you. And I'm
Oh.
thinking of a way I could tell you in plain English, but just tell me how hard your water is. Message me, and how many people live in your house.
We are out of questions. That's all of them.
That's okay. We're not that exciting, anyways.
No, Dan wasn't on tonight, so
Yeah.
not as many questions. But all right, everybody, we're gonna get off here. We've been on here for almost 2 hours, so thanks for listening. If you stuck around the whole. Let's see here. Wait a minute. Zeke, he said. Let me see here. I was in Camp Adder and went up to
Camp Atterbury. I was there too before pre-deployment. I'm sure he's talking about. Usually do workup.
I was 11B, 11C.
11 Bravo infantry.
I was at Taji all the time.
Really? Do you remember all the tanks, all the abandoned tanks? I got a picture by the tanks. What year was he there?
Let me see. Wait a minute. 2005, 2007, maybe. I don't know. HK Missions Patrol QRF.
Yeah, quick reaction force. I don't know when you were there, but I don't know if you remember the base was getting attacked. I don't know if, and a mechanic went on the roof and took one in the stomach. I don't know if he was there for that. He'd probably remember that because there was some briefings after about.
Oh, really?
It's pretty interesting to see like tracers at night and stuff, so you could see the fighting going on. And wanted a better look. Guy went on a roof, just took a stray in the stomach.
Oh my God!
You serious?
Yeah,
I never heard this.
That
story.
was at Taji. Well, I didn't know the person, but it's just interesting. But that's something that happened at Taji that maybe he'd remember.
Zink says tank graveyard.
I'm sure he saw it. There was a bunch. I wonder if he got to go to. There was called the CEM yard, captured enemy material. So there's a bunch of like Saddam's golden guns. I got pictures with golden guns.
Really?
Guns in briefcases. There was like a head of a statue in there. So much interesting stuff. Sniper rifle with a barrel's like 4 feet long. I mean, it's crazy stuff.
Huh.
I don't know if he got to go in there, but it's an interesting place.
Yeah. Doug also said he spent time in Taji in 04.
Doug, we may have crossed paths.
Yep. Yep. How many guys are there at one time? Like how many? Like how many guys would you know?
Would I know?
Yeah, from there,
No,
not very
like
many.
100.
Yeah.
So I was there, and then I was there. I got what's called cross-leveled, which means you get taken out of your unit and added to another unit out of Bay City, Michigan. Then when I got overseas, the water purification, they had contractors do all that.
Yeah.
So then I got moved to the 980th Transportation Company. So I was with a bunch of people from Louisiana doing convoy security. So I was bouncing. That's how a water guy got put in doing convoys, is because, you're a soldier first. So
yeah.
That's how it worked for me.
Zeke said James, he said I was in the big firefight on 59 Alpha.
Yeah, it's not ringing any bells. I don't know.
Yeah, he said he shot over 30,000 rounds in half an hour.
That's a hot barrel.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That'd be glowing.
Yeah. I was honestly on base like maybe even half the time. I was gone a lot.
Yeah.
On missions and stuff,
Yeah.
and convoys way up north and stuff. So
right.
I can't say. I mean, if you was talking about MSRs, main supply routes, I could get that, but I don't know what 59 Alpha is, unless that's a gate or something. But I wasn't too familiar with a lot of the gates.
Doug said he only passed through Taji. He was running convoy missions with the Striker Brigade.
Strikers are badass.
There you go, Doug.
Love seeing strikers out there when we were out there.
Yeah.
They come and save the day.
If you felt safe with them around kind of
Bat and tanks.
Yeah.
Bat and tanks.
All right.
Apaches were the best though.
Awesome, guys. Yeah. Thanks for your service, everybody. Everybody's putting that in here.
Thank you, everybody.
Yep. All right. We'll get off here. Let you guys go. We're
next time I'll bring some pictures. If we do
cool.
one again, I got some pictures, some really interesting stuff.
We could do that.
Yeah.
Throw them up on here.
Yeah, I'll get them to you, and we can go down memory lane a little bit.
That'd be cool. It's all interesting to me because it's like a
whole different world.
Oh, and people don't realize what goes on too. Like the world,
right.
The world is I heard Jocko explain it one time. He's like, I don't know how he did it way more eloquently than I could ever say it, but I'd just be repeating what he said. But he's like, I saw all the evil in the world, and he's like, we really, we're just making it worse almost sometimes. He felt like, just it's hard to quantify what you're doing out there sometimes, but it's just a crazy thing that happens.
It's
that
totally
you guys
different
are involved in.
lifestyle out there. It's actually you kind of miss it because you're only looking forward, looking out for your brother and sister out there, and you don't worry about.
Yeah, and I'm saying that wrong because he said it in a way that made more sense than I just said. It wasn't a negative thing he was saying, but it's just like just a different way of living out there.
Well, people take for granted like the freedoms and stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I know what you're talking about. I'm a big Jocko guy.
Yeah.
But I don't remember exactly either.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like, you had to do evil things to evil people. Right. Essentially, is what he was saying. It's, I guess, and it's like people don't realize that happens, for what we have here.
Right.
So,
exactly.
All right, guys. Talk to you later. Bye.